Ladies and gentlemen, we are back like we never left for season 2 of X Factor Sports Talk. We're here with Troy and Fred. How we doing, boys?
Great.
Big chilling, baby. Ready to get after it.
It's good to be
Doing
back.
great.
Good to be back. We figured what other way to get back into the YouTube game than to start with the NBA and the NBA draft. What we're going to do here is go through picks 1 through 58, give a little grade and what we thought about the pick and the fit, and go off of there and see where it takes us. How we feeling? We ready?
Let's do it, baby.
Do it.
Let's hop right into it with the first pick. As everybody knew, came kind of out of nowhere, in my opinion. It seemed like Jabari was going to be the number one pick for the longest time, and then just a few hours before the draft, it seemed like the Magic were set on Paolo. So yeah, first pick, Paolo Banchero. Fred, take it away.
Yeah, man. It's hard for me to say this about a Duke kid, but this kid's tough. I mean, he's a powerhouse. Dude's versatile, stupid athletic. My one question for him is, can he shoot? That's what it's going to be about. He's 6'10", 250. It's a bull right there, son. He's got a 6'10" wingspan, which is, he's got the same height, same wingspan, which is okay. He's only 19 years old. Averaged 17 points a game at Duke. Dude did it all for them. Took him to the Final Four. One question for me is, honestly, I know I kind of joke about it, but is the sweat issues. I mean, dude sweats off like 15 pounds a game. Orlando's super humid. I mean, it's honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a really
we have to
valid
take into account. Yeah. Like I said, can he shoot? He shot 34% from deep, a season ago at Duke. So we'll see. 73% free throw shooter. So I mean, he's got the stroke. He doesn't have a broke jump shot. So yeah, let's see if he can defend. Let's see if he can transfer over, but I think he will. I gave that draft grade an A.
Troy, where are you leading?
Yeah, I also gave it an A. He's got everything you need to be great. You kind of just talked about. I mean, he's got the height, he's got the weight, he's got the body, he's got the feel for the game. Like offensively, this kid is special. And in my eyes, I think he's one of the few guys that you could throw out there with like all NBA potential in this class. It made so much sense to me to take him at 1. He is the number 2 prospect on my big board. So I will get into that a little bit later. I don't believe he's the best player in this class. But he's right up there. And I mean, the Magic need a guy with his name draw, big university. I understand the pick. I gave it an A as well, and I'm super strict with my grades.
So. Super young core out there in Orlando. We'll see what can happen. I feel like they've drafted pretty well.
He's a guy you can throw out there with the pieces they have too. Like I could see there's realistically a world where Paolo is playing like the 3 for them. Like maybe not all the time, maybe not starting, but like for a few minutes out the game, he's playing the 3. And he fits in well, especially if he can.
And with a kid like Jonathan Isaac, you're not like hopeful that he's going to guard. If Jonathan Isaac or guard the best front court player, but if Isaac can't stay healthy, then you got another issue. But with Jonathan Isaac, kind of hide Paolo from the best front court player, I like it a lot.
Paolo's also
him and Franz,
oh yeah,
like
dude, they could do a big line. I mean, Paolo's 6'10". I mean, he's 6'10", 250. He can guard. He can guard a 5 if he needs to, because he's a capable defender. He's just, and I just want to see it. I want to see if he has the will to win. Let's see if he's willing to, be an attitude.
A lot bigger in person too than you would think.
He kind of plays like a 6'8", 220 guy, but he's 6'10", 250.
Yeah, whenever I walk down like on the court to watch warm-ups, I looked over at my buddy I was with. I said, dude, he looks so big. Like it's really deceiving. Like on the TV, but like in person, I'm like, wow, this dude, he's got it.
I don't blame them for taking that. I know a lot of people are surprised by it, but I don't think you could have gone wrong with the top 3 here.
I like it. All right, moving on. Number 2 pick, a guy that has a lot of people. It's split down the middle. You feel really strongly, or you feel like it's going to go really, really bad, and that's Chet Holmgren. Fred,
is it going to translate? That's your question. He's 7 foot tall, love it, but he's 195. That's paper thin for a guy who's 7 foot. He's got a 7'6" wingspan though. I mean, dude's averaged 4 blocks a game last year for the Zags. Dude can shoot it. He's got a 40% 3-point shooter. Average 14 a game, 10 boards. I don't think that's going to be his role like he played at Gonzaga last year. I don't think he's a 5. I think he will get bullied at a 5, but stretch 4.
Yeah.
Maybe have the ball in his hands from time to time.
And you
But I
got to
mean,
look at who he's paired next to with Alexis Pokusevsky. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
that's their 4. So I mean, like, where does Chet fit? You know what I mean?
defense, I think he could play offensively as a 5, but defensively, I think he'll get exposed, especially with a back-to-basket big. I mean, he can maybe get away with it guarding a lob threat guy, but it's going to be tough, man. I do think he's a good prospect. I'm going to give it an A- just because I do think if it does work out, it's going to be incredible. But I like him. He's older for a rookie too. He's 20 coming out as a freshman, so we'll see. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not in on Chet, if I'm being completely honest. Like, yes, there is some potential, there's upside. You know, anytime you're in the top 5, you're gonna hopefully draft a kid with some upside.
Yeah, he can defend really well. I mean, he's a very good
he's
defender.
long. He's got a great feel. I mean, he you know, he knows the game. He's played the game for so long. He's a high level recruit for a reason. Like this kid, but I think it's a weird and a good fit in OKC, if that makes sense. He'll have time to kind of go through those lumps. He'll kind of have time to grow as like a mature body and kind of, you know, because I remember during the draft process, he was kind of like downplaying the fact that everybody thought he needed to add. Like, he's like, dude, I eat a lot. So, I mean, I don't know.
Some people are just built like that, dude. Like, they just can't put on weight. It's just part of it.
I think the weight will come. The older you get, it's easier to put on weight, dude.
But you can't teach that length, bro. That whole team's long. I mean, they could kind of like the Magic, just throw out a weird long lineup.
I'm pretty sure I've seen them throw Poku at the 3 throughout the season. Like, can you imagine Chet at the 4, Poku at the 3, Shea at the 1? Like, that's just a skinny, lengthy team.
Lou Dort at the 2, you know?
Yeah.
Well, they got Giddey too. So, I mean, like, and Giddey.
Oh my, I forgot about Josh.
Like, I mean, it's like, I just don't like the fit. Like, from a basketball standpoint, from an upside standpoint, I love it. Like, you can't teach that. I gave it a C just because I'm just not in on Chet. I don't see it from a basketball perspective. But again, OKC Thunder don't really care about basketball right now. They're just trying to field a team with just tons of potential, tons of it, and it makes sense. I give it a C.
I'm like a B- C because there's just too many questions with him to really be confident in something. But
I question a little bit the defense. I think it's going to translate well. From a 4, I just don't see him playing the 5, and it's going to be tough if he does play the 5. But we'll see. I mean,
they have a 5 on the roster. I mean, like Derek Favors. Like, are they going to play?
Derek Favors? No one comes to mind right now other than Derek Favors.
Isaiah Roby. I mean. Like, are we rolling?
He flashed. I think they played
Roby, but
who'd they play at the 5 last year? Was it Roby?
It was Roby. It was, I mean, Darius Baisley's still there.
That's who I was thinking of, Baisley,
like 6'8". I mean, they just have a logjam at 4 middle guys. It's like, you know,
I think this was if this works, wow. If it doesn't, you know,
so
cool.
Yeah,
he can be a quality NBA player.
He could be still a guy that averages like 16 and 10. Yeah. Like, I feel like that's like his, as long as there's no injury or something, I feel like that's his floor is. 16.
He has a very high ceiling and very low floor.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on here. The number 3 pick went to the Houston Rockets, and Jabari fell in their lap after slipping down here. So, Jabari Smith Jr. to the Rockets. What are we thinking here?
He's my favorite prospect. I thought he should have gone number 1. This kid is unreal. He's an SEC guy, so I watched him a lot more than a lot of other prospects because I watch a lot of SEC ball. The one thing that really sticks out about Jabari, and especially watching his tape, is his lateral quickness and his passing ability, which is, I know, is kind of weird for a guy who put up 17 a game last year. But when he gets in the middle of the lane, he can look for a shot, but he's also dumping to a guy. And he played for a really good Auburn team where he had a lot of weapons to use from. Great shooter. He shot 42% from 3. I don't know if a lot of people realize that coming from a guy who's 6'10", 220. Another guy with long arms, 7 foot. Not crazy, but he does the job. Also shot 80% from free throw line, which I thought was really impressive. And as we're going through a lot of these prospects, just keep in mind how many people shot over 80% from free throw line. It's not many. So, like I said, defense, and I think his willingness to pass, and he's a 3-level scorer. I mean,
yeah, dude.
I couldn't believe he slipped at 3. I gave this an A+. I think this is an incredible pick. I think he's going to end up being the best prospect out of this group. He's incredible. Shouts out Jabari Smith, even though he went to Auburn. Go you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm a Jabari Smith guy. I wasn't like I still thought again my number one prospect's still out there. So
Where'd you have Chet on your big board?
5. I had him at
5. Okay.
5. So he still was a top 5 prospect to me. But Jabari was number 3 on my big board, again behind Paolo, and then still looming my number 1. But yeah, like you already kind of talked about, his touch is unbelievable. That form, you can't really teach it. I mean, it's just one of those God-given beautiful jump shots. So you just sit back and you're like, my word, that dude can shoot the ball.
Right.
And again, he can break you down in that high post game that is just so wicked. Like I think him and Paolo are very comparable, and I think those are the two guys that like later on in life you're kind of gonna like. There's a 3-man with Keegan, Jabari, and Paolo that all kind of have similar feels, similar. So those 3 are going to be really fun to watch going forward. But yeah, he was literally a minus 1,000 odds on favorite to be the number 1 pick. He falls to 3. Houston sitting back all with their young core of like KPJ, Jalen Green. It just makes so much sense. And again, Garabua and Sinjin, like they can all play around Jabari. Like this just fits from every sense that you make it. Like people thought this guy was the number 1 pick at 6:00 p.m. Like, and then he falls to 3, and Houston's sitting back there like, holy cow! Like we were not expecting this, and they get a really, really good prospect with a super high ceiling. And Jabari, that's a great pick. I still gave it a B+ again because my number 1 prospect is still out there. And I just think he would have been, better in this sense. But
hey, dude's a gamer too, man. I remember watching a game against A&M. They ended up losing the game, I do believe, but they were down double digits with like 2 minutes to go. And they just kept feeding that man the ball, and he just kept pulling him back, taking guys off the dribble. Like it was a guy who's 6'10", 220. I mean, that's just insane.
One thing you hear about him is his shot making ability and his shot creating ability. And I think
insane.
It's going to translate really well in the league, especially in an offense where there's no pressure. Just go out there and play.
Go out there and put the ball in the hole.
Like, and he seems to really care about winning, which I mean that's a lot of. Do they need basketball? I think it's a huge question mark. A lot of prospects.
Jalen Green can kind of be a little bit like flashy, a little bit about the flair of the game, and then you bring in a guy like Jabari that can kind of be an even keel. Like, hey, let's focus up right here. Let's get this dub before we get our 30 piece.
I like dogs, and I think out of those 3, I think Jabari Smith's the biggest dog. I think Paulo's right there with him too. I think Paulo's got a lot of dog in him. Chet, a little puppy in him. You know what I mean?
Okay, moving on here. When I was listening to podcasts from NBA Analysis about this draft, everybody was saying that this was not everybody, I should say, but there was a lot of talk that this was a 4-player draft. And when number 4 pick came up, it seemed like everybody knew who they thought the pick should be. But then the Kings swerved and took Keegan Murray out of Iowa. And when it caught several people by surprise, but I think if you watch this kid and you watch his game, you're not surprised. So Fred, take it away.
Yeah, I mean, I was not mad about this pick at all. I was very okay with this. I don't think they should have taken who got picked at 5, because I think him and Fox would have. I just don't see it. They got, and for Sacktown, they need something, man. They got Sabonis, which I thought was a great pickup. Love Fox, of course. Harrison Barnes can still get it done. But this man, he's a scorer, guy with another high motor. But yeah, like you said, the question was this a reach? I don't know. I really liked him. He's pure. He averaged 24 points a game last year at Big Ten school, won the Big Ten championship, 9 boards, shot 40% from 3. Again, another guy who's that 6'8" range, who can shoot. He also averaged 2 blocks a game last year, which I thought was super impressive coming out there. So, and almost a steal and a half. So, I mean, Duke can defend, Duke can score it. I think, and another thing is, a lot of people think he needs the ball in his hands. I think he's a good off the ball as well. Willing cutter. So we'll see. I know this is Troy's guy, so let him.
If you had any doubt about who my number 1 prospect is, it's Keegan Murray. This guy, man, you can put him anywhere on a basketball floor, and he can be effective in every sense on the defensive side of the ball. Kind of like you mentioned, he's a sneaky good defender. On the offensive side of the ball, this dude is a 3-level scorer. He can score from every facet. He can play make for himself. He can play make for others. Now, that the playmaking for others thing, that's still probably his biggest weakness, is getting others involved off the bounce. But I mean, still, if you watch, he debuted in the summer league game last night. He had 26 points in 28 minutes. That's unbelievable efficiency. 10 of 14 from the field, 4 of 5 from deep, 8 rebounds. Like, this kid was everywhere, and it wasn't like he was just getting playing one-on-one with himself. He was getting pin downs. He was going to the corner, like coming off these little like pin down screens, these little corner screens where he was just getting open and firing before the defender could, because he's 6'9", 6'10", and can just shoot over people. Beautiful touch, beautiful feel. I mean, this kid, I text Caleb during March Madness. I said, if you are able to watch any game, watch Iowa. I said, because Keegan Murray is the real deal. Like, every game I was drawn to this kid, and his improvement from year 1 to year 2 at Iowa was just beautiful. And like, he's just a stud, man. I love Keegan Murray. Give me all of Keegan Murray. I will defend the Sacramento Kings. So you're telling me they're going to draft Davion Mitchell last year? They're going to draft Halliburton and then trade him, and then people want him to draft Ivy again and after they took Fox like 4 years. Like, what do you want the Kings to do? Continue just to rev up guards and like try to field a lineup of 6'4" guys? Like, what? Like, why are people so negative about the Kings? It just really frustrates me. They're my sleeper team of the year. I love Keegan Murray with the fit with Harrison Barnes. He can learn from Harrison. Like, it makes so much sense to me. I just don't understand people hating on it. He's my number 1 prospect, if you can't tell. And I just love Keegan, man. He's
one thing about him is he was a no-name recruit with only one Division I offer. So I think, and then he went to like an All-American type player. So you get a guy in the Sacramento system who's going to want to prove himself. I think that's like, dude, you bring him in, change that program or that environment around, and start building up from there. I mean,
and it's not like he requires media attention either. He's super calm guy. He's low, and that's kind of the Kings mantra right now. Like, D Fox isn't in the media a lot. Sabonis isn't in the media. Like, Harrison Barnes is sneaky good and gets swept under the rug. Like, these dudes are very like even keel. It fits everywhere. So like, it's just a great fit. So.
I mean, you don't see a guy averaging 23.5 points in college shooting 55% from the field. That's not back to basket big. I mean, you just don't see that. I give it an A-, by the way. That's my grade.
I give it an A+, obviously. Number 1 prospect.
A+. All right, moving on here. The Detroit Pistons took Jaden Ivey out of Purdue, guard, to pair up with Cade Cunningham. Fred, what are we thinking here?
Transition. This dude's quick. He wants to get downhill. This man was incredible in the fast break last year for Purdue. 17 points a game. Willing rebounder, was a 5 rebound game guy. He's 6'4", 200, so he's built. Another sophomore. This is a very sophomore-heavy draft, I've noticed. Okay splits. I mean, shot 36% from 3. I'd like to see that go up. My question for this, he needs to cut down on turnovers, about 3 a game, especially coming from the 2. I think he's going to be a 2. I'm interested to see how him and Cade play next to each other. Yeah. I think it's going to be very interesting because I do think Jaden's a guy who does need that ball in his hands. So hopefully he can learn to play more off ball because I think Cade will have ball in his hands. Pistons are still in a rebuild. I don't think it's going to happen next year, maybe the year after, but decent pick. I'm okay with it. I gave it a B+. I really do like Jaden Ivey as a prospect. I just want to see how that game develops. And my big question mark on him, simple as this, what is he? Let's figure that out. Then we'll go from there. So
yeah, I think what was left, I think the Pistons were almost forced in a sense to take. It's kind of like whenever Jabari Smith's on the board at 3. Like, you can't not take that pick. Like, right. Ivy was a, surefire. Everybody thought top 4 pick. Everybody was trying to move up to that pick to get Ivy. Like, if you listen to the league circles, but Jaden Ivey, number 6 prospect on my big board. I'm not high on him, but I still believe he's a one of the top prospects in this class. He fits the Pistons mindset. Like, his whole family played in Detroit, it seems. Yeah. They literally presented this dude like 4 family jerseys at his, like, how do you, like, it's just like, okay, like, this kid is going to play here for a really long time. He's going to love the city. It's a good pick for them. I actually really, really like him and Cade together because I think Cade's sneaky off the ball. Like, this dude can be real sneaky and then like catch you leaning as a defender whenever he catches and rips. But yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. And so we'll see.
Yeah. We'll see how that backcourt fits together. But I mean, as of right now, I feel like there's no reason to not like it. So we'll move on to Benedict Mathurin, number 6 out of Arizona to the Indiana Pacers. Fred?
I flipping love this kid, man. I love Benedict, man. Another sophomore, 6'6", 210, Arizona, played great for them, had an awesome year. My favorite thing about him, he can defend all 5. I love guys who can defend all 5. And this dude, another dog. I think he's a absolute beast on the court.
Yeah.
Dude gets up, guards, gets up. You need a bucket, go get it. Dude averaged 18 and 6 last year. Shot 37%, which improved over the year. Just a guy with a lot of motor. I do think he's raw. I still do think he's a raw prospect. A lot of people are kind of hating on the pick. I love this kid. I watched a little bit of Arizona last year just because they were, a top team there for a while. They got a lot of prime time besides when they played at 1 o'clock in the morning out there in the Pac-12. But I really like this kid. I think he can be a great piece for Indiana, a guy you can go out there defend. I mean, 3-and-D guys are at a premium right now. So I think that's going to be his role, and I think he's going to do well. Maybe like a Desmond Bain kind of guy, So shouts out to Benedict Mathurin.
Did you give a grade?
I'm going to give it an A-. I really like Benedict, man. He's a stud.
Yeah, he's number 8 on my big board. I gave it a C+.
He rough on these kids, man.
And for the Pacers, in my mind, he's going to be a good 3-and-D. But you literally just drafted Chris Duarte. But I get, you want to pair up these 6'6" to 6'8" wings that can all shoot and defend. Makes some sense. They fit a team. But the Pacers are going to be terrible. They are.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're going to be bad.
Sale. So you would think they would go highest upside. And in my mind, I would go Shaedon Sharpe or a guy from overseas like a Ousmane Dieng, like one of those guys that has a high ceiling, maybe an extremely low floor. Like you don't know what you're getting from these guys. But the good thing about these terrible teams, you have all the time in the world and all the minutes in the world to hand these kids to figure it out. So Shaedon Sharpe's there, was a number 1 recruit in the class, has all this hype around him. If you're the Pacers, it's a shot in the dark. Take it. Because if he would have went to college, he's a top 3, top 2, maybe the first pick. So didn't make much sense to me to get a guy that can be a really, really good role player on a team that's going to be really, really bad. So I gave it a C+. I like Benedict, I just hate the situation for him because he's more of a winning player. And, the Pacers, I've been really, really hard on the Pacers for a lot of years because they make no sense. It doesn't make any sense to me why, A, they couldn't win with the team that they had, and B, now that they're fire selling, they're going to get dudes that fit a winning team. It's I don't know. And Duarte last year, even I love him, but he's a little bit older. So, where's your direction? Give me a direction and I'm all in, but no direction. I'm kind of, Yeah, I gave it a C+.
Oh, sure. Yeah, Troy's always been pretty hard on the Pacers. Yeah, I lost a bet to him not too long ago.
Yep, $50.
Moving number 7 here, a guy that hits home that Troy's already hit on a little bit here. Shaedon Sharpe out of Kentucky.
Next.
Really out of Kentucky.
Next.
We see the UK fans, they're still a little hurt here, but Fred, what do you think about his pro game?
Definitely hurt. He didn't play in college, but kid had to do what's best for him. All jokes aside, you gotta do what you gotta do. I think the situation was extremely mishandled. Shouldn't have gone down like it did. Don't lie. Don't think it was Cal or anybody's fault in UK's end. I just think it was mishandled by his end. But as a prospect, dude's a 3-level scorer. Plain and simple. But he hasn't played. He's 6'5", he's thin at 198, but he's got almost a 7-foot wingspan, which is incredible. He's still 19 years old. But how much does this kid need basketball? He hasn't played since halfway through his senior year in high school. He didn't even play for Team Canada. He left his team, like I said, midway through the senior year. Does this kid want to play? Skipped out on workouts, combines. I don't know. What is he hiding? I don't know. But this kid, he reminds me a lot of Brandon Roy. I know it's kind of weird that he went to Portland, but he's got that long, lengthy build, can shoot it. So we'll see. I gave it a B- because his ceiling is so high. But how much does he need basketball, and what is he? Because nobody's seen him play.
Okay, this is another one. Give me a direction. This kid hasn't played basketball in 2 years. You're trying to convince.
Does he need it?
Yeah, or a year and a half or whatever it is. It's been a really, really long time. and the Pacers are trying to sell people, or the Trailblazers are trying to sell people that they're in win now mode, and you have a kid like Oshai Abaji that 3-and-D wing. He's a senior coming out. He's got a nice frame, can be tossed into a winning situation.
He's a winner
and be a really good role player. And oh, by the way, coming off a championship, like this is the type.
Ring me.
Like this pick again just doesn't make sense to me. Like I get the upside, I get all that. It's a shiny object, number one recruit. But you're trying to tell me that you're trying to build a team, and you just signed a guard to a 4-year, $100 million deal. Damian Lillard's making $200 million, and then you're going to bring in another guard that kind of plays a similar role. It just like, build your team around Dame. I don't really like the pick. I gave it a C. I mean, I get it. I still would have liked Sochan here. I would have liked Johnny Davis here a little bit better. Like guys that can like have played the game of basketball, A, and B, like, I don't know. This Shaedon Sharpe pick is just a little shiny object. Let's grab it.
Well, see, I'm a huge stat analytics guy. I had nothing to go off of. So
yeah,
I literally have A's because like I don't know if he wants basketball.
Yeah, it's like, what do you go off of, your Nike EYBL highlights? Like,
I mean,
that's what everybody was having to go off of. That's the thing.
So he flourished in Peach Jam. He was a top 100 recruit, and then he played in Peach Jam, and he shot to number 1. That's it. I mean, that's the last time he's played. I mean, we don't know. I don't know.
I do think though, like this is the potential for him alone to play underneath Dame Lillard and Anthony Simons, to come off the bench and just be able to like absorb like what a true like solid guard in the league is, like Dame Lillard, and a guy up and coming like Anthony Simons. Like this could help him in the long run to learn what it's like to be a pro at like a guard at the pro level. So I think ultimately it is a questionable pick for the time, but I think in the end, like say 3-4 years from now, I could see it being like on the higher end of like it worked out for him. So who knows? But
only time will tell with this kid.
Yeah. Troy, do we want to stop there since there's 2 minutes left?
No, I'm gonna upgrade it.
Okay. All right. So moving on here, we have number 8. Here, I'll redo it so we have time to edit that out. All right, moving on here to number 8, our first G League prospect, Dyson Daniels, 6'6" point guard for the G League Ignite. Fred, take it away.
I love Dyson Daniels, man. I love this kid. Like you said, of course, and the Pelicans, man, building something special out there, man. I love it. Yeah, like you said, he's that 6'6", 6'7" guard. First true point guard taken off the board. I'm interested to see if that's going to be his role. I'd like to see it be his role. He's got a 6'10" wingspan. He's super young. He's 19 still. A lot of scouts say he's a very high IQ guy, which is super important. Elite defender, versatile. I think he's a perfect fit. The question is the shooting. You want to have a shooting at guard nowadays. He shot 25% from 3 in the G League circuit. But he's a guy who averages 11, 6, and 5. I mean, that's impressive. He has a nice stroke. I mean, he's shot 75% from the free throw line. Was a guy who averaged 2 steals. Just the shooting is my question for him. But you can't teach that size.
The shot takes too long to get out of his hands. He's got to speed that up.
Yeah. So I think getting NBA, I think he'll need a year or 2 maybe. But again, you can't teach that what's in between his eyes and what's on his body, which is incredible. Pause. But he's great. I give that grade an A because I really like Dyson Daniels. He's one of my favorite prospects in the draft. Super cool watching tape on him. So
yeah, he's one of your favorite. He's one of my least. Right, and yeah, I'm not really high on Dyson Daniels. I have him ranked number 35 on my big board. I'm not high on him. But again, I want to fit this in there. I think he complements CJ well, but he's just too raw for me. I think I just think he's just a raw prospect. And again, there were rumors and swirls that he was going to move up into like the 7, the 6. Like
he's an elite defender, man. I think he's going to be really good.
That's what everybody was saying. And again, but I think they did a really good job last year with like Jose Alvarado. Trey Murphy started kind of imposing himself. Like they have Herbert Jones. They have those guys, and just throwing in another role. I guess the development should be there with, how well they developed, and Willie Green's done a really, really good job with their whole thing and getting these guys ready. But I just think like Trey Murphy kind of fits that like 2-3 around CJ, and then you throw in Jose Alvarado, who can take some pressure off of CJ, but on the defensive side of the ball. But yeah, there are just a few more prospects available that I just am a little bit higher on. And again, I'm going to keep beating this dead horse. Ochai Agbaji, still just falling. I'm a huge Agbaji guy, and I think this would have been a perfect fit for him. Another guy, a 3-and-D wing. I mean, it would that just makes so much more sense. He has some potential. He has the upside. He's just a little too raw for me at this spot. I would like to see a little later, flyer like the Thunder take him or something like that.
What do you guys think about these G League prospects, by the way? Kind of a little side question.
I think it kills their
because it could kill draft stock, as we see with a couple guys, or it could,
I think it's one of those things that it has the potential of helping you out in the long run, though, because you're playing against better competition. You're seeing what it's like because you're playing in an NBA system. You're playing, like, you're learning as you're going. And so, like, you're going to struggle, and you're going to, like, for the most part, like Jalen Green, stood out more than others. But it's like, I think in the end, like, if I had the opportunity, it would be a tough choice because, yeah, you want to go play in college. Like, that's what everybody's dream is. But now you have this opportunity to make money and to learn and develop in the NBA system. And so, I don't know. It's tough. Like, I think in the end, it helps more than it probably.
Get your foot in the door.
Yeah.
With a program and with a, but in my eyes, I think it exposes you more. And
too, yeah.
I mean, these grown men don't care. They're fighting for a livelihood too.
No.
Like colleges, you can kind of schedule a cupcake, make your guys look good. Like Damian Collins. I mean, last year he looked amazing against some cupcakes, but then you get to some of these bigger schools and it struggles. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm a little 50-50 on.
I think you have more room for error in college than you do in the pro. 100%. But I like his point to you're playing an NBA system, but some of these colleges now you're playing an NBA system. So
not Kentucky. You're gonna be making money now. So
wish Kentucky would play that system, but that's fine. Next question.
All right, moving on. Number 9, the San Antonio Spurs on the board, and they take Jeremy Sochan out of Baylor.
Pass this one to Brad. He's a huge.
I love Jeremy Sochan, man. Just a freshman. Doesn't seem like he's a freshman. He's a 19-year-old kid. He's a 6'9", 230. Dude's a tank. It's a big guy right there. He's 7-foot wingspan. My favorite thing about him is his defense and his heart. I mean, you watch a Baylor game, that dude was grinding. That dude was playing with a lot of energy. Just the big question with him, can he develop offensively? Just a 9 a game score, 6.5 rebounds. Shot 30%.
58.9% from the free throw line.
Yeah, his shot is not there. So I see long-term him being a bench guy. I do. I really like Jeremy Sochan, but I do think he went a little too high, especially to a team like the Spurs. Now, if there was, a team who ended up having this pick who was competing, let's say a Bucks or somebody had a pick, traded a pick, whatever it may be, the Celtics, kind of like in the years where they just had a pick sitting there, I would have been like, okay, but the Spurs don't need it. Like, the Spurs need a splash, and this was not it.
Now, the direction that the Spurs are going in now, it doesn't make sense. In years past, with the way how good the Spurs have been, it's like, oh, okay, yeah, another great. Like, they always find those pieces in the draft to like plug into their system. Yeah. But now it's like this system is something we haven't seen in 25 years. So it's like, yeah, I get it. But
so I give it a B because I love him as a prospect, but I just think the fit is questionable. So
see, I'm gonna push back a little bit there. I like the fit. If you think about the Spurs last year,
maybe not at 9 though.
Maybe yeah.
That's my question mark.
You're right, but in my eyes, as you can tell, I'm big on, does he fit a need? Does this prospect kind of fit a long-term plan? And like, yeah, Sochan, again, the Spurs are gonna be terrible. He's gonna have some time to groom offensively because the points got to come somewhere. And like, he's going to have his opportunities playing alongside, like Devin Vassell, some of the guards that they've drafted over the years. And he's actually 24th on my big board. So I'm pretty low on him as an overall like big boom guy. Kind of like you said, they need a splash. But again, he fits a need. They played Keldon Johnson a lot at the 4 last year, and Keldon Johnson's like 6'6", 6'7". Like he kind of in that weird.
Can't believe how well he's developed. That's insane.
He's developed extremely well. Like we didn't really see that at Kentucky, like what he shows on San Antonio. So I think they're going to get the best out of him. I gave a B- for the grade, and again, his versatile. He's a versatile defender. He can guard 1 to 5. He's long, and again, his heart, man. He plays with so much. He plays with his heart on his sleeve. Like he just goes out there, competes, and you know, you can see how he's feeling. Like if he's feeling real good, you'll know, because he's very, very expressive. And I like that in a player. I like that he goes out there, he competes, he leaves his heart out there. And you know, for the Spurs, they need that energy now without Devontae. And like those guys in the locker room, are we selling? What are we doing? Like this was our young star. Like what are we got going on? And so having a guy right there that can kind of pick up the morale a little bit, kind of be like, all right, let's go out there, let's compete, let's go to war. Like this is us. And I like the fit a little bit better than I like the prospect. So.
And this just shows for the young kids out there, you don't have to average 20 points a game to be a top lottery pick. Because a lot of these guys that have been picked are under 15 a game scorers. NBA does not look for that. You're both are in the coaching. I'm sure you all don't just look for scoring out there on the floor. So,
wear your heart. Get your heart out there, man.
Finally, the last pick in the top 10, the exciting guard out of Wisconsin, Johnny Davis, goes to the Washington Wizards. Troy, let's start with you here.
Taco Bell? We can talk about Taco Bell here?
So Johnny Davis is number 12 on the big board. So, I mean, he's right in this range for me, 10, 11, 12 range. Another kid I really liked watching Johnny at Wisconsin. His scoring ability kind of flashed at times. He was in a conversation, I believe, for a while for Player of the Year, and in the Big Ten. Was he the Player of the Year in the Big Ten?
No, your boy was.
Okay, yes. So Johnny Davis, you know, now that they got rid of KCP, I kind of start to see a little bit more of a role for him. Because whenever they initially drafted him, I was kind of like, you know, where is he a bench? I guess he's a bench pop, which makes some sense. But are they going to try to mold him into a bigger one? Are they going to mold him into more of like a 2-3 option? Like, what is their vision for Johnny Davis? And kind of like you said with Jaden Ivey, where are they going to go with him? Like, what are they going to do? That's kind of where I sit with Johnny Davis, because he can play with the ball in his hands. He's all right off the ball, but he's less effective, I feel like, off the ball, because he's not like a knockdown shooter. He's not a guy that's, you know, going to fill it up from the outside. So it's kind of like, what are you going to do? Like, is he a bigger one, or are you guys going to try to develop him in the sense of a 2-3?
Fred?
I think about all the guys I watched tape on, because I was such a big question mark with him, was Johnny. And because I saw him play a couple times. Big Ten, you know, basketball was at they played a high level basketball last year. The one thing that sticks out to me is 30% from the three, like Troy said, his outside shot needs some work. He can shoot it. It's not like he has a broke jump shot. He averaged 20 points a game. My favorite thing about him, he's a willing rebounder. He's an 8 rebound game guy who's 6'6" with a 6'8" wingspan. So it's not like he's super long or super tall. So that was super impressive. I give this a C+, because that question mark was I literally have the same question mark with him. Jaden Ivey was the role. And then another thing with Johnny was just consistency. So I'd like to see both of those things, but could he be great? Yes. Could he be just a role player?
Don't get to learn under Bradley Beal. So that's always
heck if I got to learn under.
It's always nice. So I gave it a C as well. I don't think I said that.
Interested to see how his career, what trajectory that takes. So not a bad pick by any means, but just not my favorite player in the class for sure.
So moving on here, we have our first international prospect coming in at number 11, but also our first trade. The Knicks trade the pick to the Thunder. Thunder end up getting Ousmane Dieng. How do we feel about that, Fred?
First of all, great pronunciation by you, buddy. I mean, that's incredible. That was incredible. Yeah, I like him. Something that really, his speed was really what took off for me watching tape on this kid. He's incredibly fast. He seems like a very smart player. He's 6'9", 195 or 185. Coming out of New Zealand. So I really want to see him bulk up a little
Thunder,
bit.
Go Thunder, go.
I do give this pick a C though. I'm not crazy high this pick at 11, especially 27% from the three. I guess maybe they see him more as a 4, but that size just brings him into a 3 to me. I think he's super raw. When his prospect that raw, I can see them taking him in maybe the late first or, you know, even in the second. So I think 11 was kind of a reach for this kid. So I'm gonna give it a C.
I gave it an F. Like, he's my number 37 prospect. I just don't like him as a prospect.
Yeah, I thought this. I'm watching tape and I'm like, nothing. He's quick, I guess, for that height.
Like, nothing stands out to me when you talk about Ousmane Dieng. Like, you're picking him at 11. You have the 12th pick. He would have been there. Spoiler alert. He would have been at 12.
I think he would have been at 20 or whatever, or, you know, whatever the next pick was.
Jumping unless they told them like, yeah, we're looking at Usman Jang just to get future picks out of the Sam Presti lore of picks that he has. But I'm just not a Usman Jang guy. Like, what are you doing? Are you trying to field the biggest team of 6?
You're trying to find the next Giannis is what these teams are doing.
He started off the season really, really struggling for his team, and then the second half he really came on. So I think maybe that is a big deal, like a big part of it. It's like you start off slow, but then like he's picking it up as it's going on. So he's hot. Let's snag him while we can. And it's probably another case of like, let's find the next Giannis.
But like they get another 6'9" forward. Like what?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. What are they doing, Darius Baisley? Like, I mean, that kid showed some flash. Like, are they just gonna now? Oh, you're not skinny and long, so let's throw you to the back burner and see if we can get a first round pick or a second round pick out of you towards the middle end of the year. Like, it's like I mean,
do you take a development piece at 11? You know what I mean? Like,
I guess if you're the Thunder, I mean, why not? But I mean, again,
Sam Presti is the kind of guy that he's gonna reach in the draft. I mean, like he took Giddey last year higher than anybody was expecting.
Presti's turned out pretty well. Turned out pretty well.
I think, but
Presti's that guy to do that.
But I think with Josh, he kind of already looked like what he was like. I don't know what Zhang's gonna be. I mean, a poor shooter, he even shot 40% just from the field. It's not like he's getting it done down low either. So, and he's super thin for that 6'9" frame. So
I don't like the pick.
But he's 19, and New Zealand's a basketball hub. So I mean,
like this pick. Period. F. Period. Like
I get to see because I'm not as mean as Troy, but
I just don't understand. Like
I didn't understand it either, but go Sam Presti.
Talking about the Thunder though, take us into pick 12 there.
Yeah, I love this kid.
Sticking with the Thunder, they take Santa Clara's Jalen Williams,
the fighting Steve Nash's baby. Come on.
Yeah, right. Is this the first guy to come out of Santa Clara since Steve Nash? Probably, I'd assume.
So. This kid's stud.
I've heard all NBA insiders, all NBA analysts are really, really high on this kid. So take it from
out of nowhere.
Arms. This kid has arms for days. He's 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan. This kid is unreal. I love him. 18 a game at Santa Clara. Competition is always going to be that question mark for a kid coming out of Santa Clara, but he proved it, man. 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 40% from three. For a guy with a 7'2" wingspan at his height, shooting that well, that's incredible. 80% for the free throw line. 2 turnovers a game, which isn't bad. He's a willing passer. He's extremely smart. He plays with great pace. I think he's another one of those dogs in the class, baby. And he's 21. He's been around, so he's an experienced guy who's still developing. I love this kid. A-. First of the Jalen Williams off the board. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fit next to Shea and next to Giddey. Like he's a guy that can defend at a high level.
Do you think he's a 3?
I guess
2-3.
I think we're entering closer to positionless basketball.
As Thunder are just going to throw 5 guys out.
They're just going to throw their bet, and like he can pair pretty nicely next to Giddey and Shea. Just he's long, he's athletic, he can play off the ball. He could catch and shoot, kind of like you've alluded to. I mean, he's a guy that just plays with a lot of heart, plays with a lot of toughness. I love the fit. I'm not a huge fan of him as a prospect. I think that, kind of like, I mean, you just raved about him, so I don't want to rain on that parade, but like,
you're good.
I'm just not number 28 on my board in terms of prospect rankings, but in terms of fit, I like it a lot. And so I gave it a B+. And I put a grinder, and oh boy, is he long. That's literally what I put in my notes.
It's weird watching tape on kids, especially from Santa Clara, because they stick out so much. It's like, oh, this dude's different from the not discrediting, kids from that conference. It's like, oh, he's he's different.
Exactly who you're watching when you flip on Santa Clara film. Like if I told you nothing, I said, hey, there's an NBA prospect in this game, find him. They'd be like, oh,
the dude who's tying his shoes standing straight up. You know what I mean? Like scratching his knees. You know what I mean?
That's Jalen right there.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see his role with the Thunder. I mean, I don't even know if the Thunder are going to have any roles next year. Just give Shea the ball, throw 4 other guys out there. Man. Yeah. All right, moving on. Number 13, the Hornets took Jalen Duren, but they traded him to the Detroit Pistons. Duren is 6'10", 250. I mean, a unit. So we'll go from there. Fred, what are you thinking?
I literally wrote down holy size. This dude is, like you said, 6'11", 250. He's only 18 years old. He's got a 7'5" wingspan. His big thing's defense, rebounder. He's more of a traditional big, in a sense of, even though he has more of a rim running style, he's not going to shoot the three. He didn't shoot one at Memphis. So my big question mark in him, is he going to be a winner? Does he need basketball? I don't know.
Motor.
Penny Hardaway, I don't know. You know what I mean? 12 points a game, 8 rebounds, shot 60% from the field. I can see that go up even more. 63 from the line. 2 blocks too. I thought was kind of low for a guy with his size and length. So we'll see what he is. I think he's going to be a great defender in the league, though. I think it was a great pick by the Pistons. I give it an A, man. I really like him as a prospect.
I gave it a B, and he's my number 13 prospect, taken at 13. And so I like Mark Williams a little bit more than Jalen.
I do too.
I think there's a lot more upside.
Even though I hate saying it.
But playing off of Ivy and Cade in that pick and roll game, it's gonna be wicked. Like, the dude will probably shoot like 75%. Like, and that's kind of crazy. Like, this dude is literally going to be putbacks off offensive rebounds if he has the motor to get down there and grind, which I hope that they find in him. And I think Detroit's perfect for him. Like, he just looks like a Detroit Pistons big man, thick, huge, like imposing, like just a Motor City guy. Like, I love Jalen Duren. I wanted him at Kentucky so bad. He kind of has a body type, even maybe a little bit bigger, of like Bam, where like he's just imposing. He's a bigger guy. Like, you look at him, you're like, man, you're kind of sneaky in the way that you like present yourself. Like, you're a really strong guy. But yeah, I like Jalen. I think off lobs, off the rolls, his pick, like, he's going to set hard screens. He's a huge, huge man. So like, and defensively, like you said, he's got upside, but again, it's just getting that motor in him to compete every.
He's only 18.
But he's going to also be competing with Isaiah Stewart. And we saw Isaiah Stewart last year, A, grow really nicely in the Pistons system, and B, he's kind of psychotic, kind of grinder. Like,
and C, almost killed LeBron James.
Yeah, like he wanted to like scrap with LeBron.
Hey, so, that practice is gonna be those bodies banging against each other.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see a video surface in like 2 months of those two in a fist fight. Like, it.
I hope. Hey, if I'm a Detroit Pistons fan, that's what I want to see, man.
I want to see it too.
You kidding me?
For minutes,
let's punch somebody.
I like Duren as a prospect. It's a B.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Again, another great direction pick for the Pistons. The Pistons fans just keep on winning this offseason, in my opinion. Like, they're getting good quality players. Keep it moving.
Good.
All right, moving on here. Number 14, a guy that Troy's been really high on, mentioned a few times here. Ochai Agbaji went to the Cavs. I really like this pick. I'll say that. I really like with the Cavs direction and taking a solid 3-man here to fit alongside Darius Garland and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. I really like it. So how are we feeling about this one?
Okay, I'm going to take it, Fred.
Yeah, please do.
I'll let you have it here in a little bit, but he's my number 4 prospect. And I've mentioned Chris Duarte quite a bit. I raved about him last year. I was like, he was just, I watched him and I was just like, wow. And that's how I feel about Ochai Agbaji. And the crazy part is he improved every year at Kansas. He's going to improve every year in the pros. And he has such a high floor, maybe not a high ceiling, but his high floor is good enough to be like a really good rotational piece on a really, really good team. And that's exactly what he's going to be. The Cavs, in my opinion, so far, the steal of the draft at 14. He's a win now ready prospect. Again, reminds me of my guy Duarte. He'll have a 15+ year career in the NBA, just a pure gamer. Like, and again, he needs to improve offensively, but every year at Kansas, he improved offensively. So like, he's willing to work. He's willing to put it in. I love this kid. I mean, he's just, I could rave about him, his body, his frame, his feel, like his like sneaky aggressiveness. He's not the guy that's just going to try to take over every time he touches the ball. And that's something I love. Like, he's willing to play off of people. And when you have Darius Garland and you know, if they bring back Colin Sexton, but even if they don't, they have Karis LeVert. So like, they have these guys that are really going to be ball dominant, getting a kid that can play off, cut. He's a precise cutter. He's a really good, he can shoot a little bit, needs to improve consistency from the outside of my eyes, and maybe spike up some attempts. But I love the pick. Love it.
Dude's a winner. He's got the experience. He's a 4-year player at Kansas.
Ring me.
He's got himself a ring ski. 5 rebounds, 1 rebounder, 40% from three, which his 3-point percentage is steadily improved. The question, the defense was great. Will it translate? Was my question. I think that question's probably answered yes. I'll give it a B. I like the pick. Got the length. He's got a 6'10" wingspan. I'm huge on wingspan, so it's going to be a great fit. I love what Cleveland's building out there, man.
Yeah,
He's got all the tools to be a real, like the frame, the size, all of it to just be a really, really solid NBA player.
I'm excited to see what
it's like. He's not like a shiny object that these Cleveland fans are going to be like, oh my God, but they don't need that. They have Darius, they have Evan, they have Jarrett. Like they got these guys that these fans are going to be like, holy cow, this is who I come to see. And then you have Ochai Agbaji that kind of just slides in, does some dirty work, shoots like he needs to improve. I want to see consistency over years, like not just your one great year of shooting. I want another 40, 45 because he's going to get open looks playing off of Garland. So I think that he will improve and he's going to steal the draft so far in my eyes.
Yeah.
Him and Okoro could be really, really solid.
Yeah, he's still developing too.
About Isaac.
Still developing.
What they're building, man.
They can draft, dude.
Cleveland, get excited. You guys are building something very, very special.
Post LeBron era, baby. Come on.
So we see the Hornets traded number 13 away, and there was a center taken there. But with their 15th pick, they take a center, Mark Williams out of Duke. One of two back-to-back Duke picks here. 6'10", 240. So another really solid frame guy. Fred, how you feel about this one?
I have him listed at 7'2". Did you say 7'2"?
That what I say? I said 6'10".
I got him listed at 7'2" with a 7'6" wingspan.
I'm on here at 6'10". I don't know.
Hey, maybe that's with shoes. I don't know. But either way.
We're wearing high heels.
Dude's 242. I mean, second, he was a 2-year player at Duke. Developed insane after 1 year. I literally have written down here tank. Dude is a absolute tank. Length for days. He moves well for a guy that big. He's a lob threat. 73% from the free throw line is what really stuck out to me. A guy who's going to get fouled, I think. 72% from the field. I think he fits 3 blocks a game. I think he fits really well with LaMelo. I think as an A- pick, as much as I hate saying these Duke guys, but I thought this was a, no pun intended, slam dunk pick, and I think he's going to have a great career there. Can he stay healthy? Let's see. But A-, good for Charlotte. Go Mark Williams.
I think during Duke's Final Four run, I think people obviously were there to watch AJ Griffin and Paolo. But I think who you were almost drawn to every time you flipped on a game during their run was Mark Williams. Mark Williams was doing almost everything you needed him to do in big spots and was doing it so well. I think his stock just went boom throughout that Final Four run because for a while, I mean, people were like, this dude's going to come back for his junior season, be a tank, be maybe a player of the year candidate. But then during that Final Four run, something clicked with Mark where he just kind of started figuring out, I don't know if it was his role. I don't know if he finally figured out how to play off of all these dudes that Duke had. But he literally did everything you needed him to do. And he was almost more compelling to watch than, let's say, Paolo, even though, I mean, Paolo stole the show late in games. But even more than AJ Griffin, I think that's why you saw AJ fall a little bit. And Mark, again, my number 11 prospect, I think he'll play really, really well off LaMelo. I think he's going to average 13 and 8 throughout his rookie campaign, which is beautiful for a rookie.
You can't
complain about that. And again, he's got really good feel offensively that I think sky is the limit in terms of where he can improve. And if he can improve a mid-range jump shot, just prove to me that you can knock those down. And then you got something to space the floor with that whole team. And I gave it a B+.
CBS did has him at 7'2", by the way. So man's got height.
So it's somewhere somebody either A, messed up, or B, he's just messing up some height scales.
We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll
stick with that. Pretty
I
tall
mean,
guy.
You can dunk it. You know what I mean? He's an elite defender. I think he's gonna be an elite defender.
Moving to pick 16 here, another Dookie taken, AJ Griffin, arguably one of the best shooters in the draft. Shot, I want to say it's like 45% from three. lot of tools to fit. Hopefully, really, really solid with this Hawks team who have been in the news lately. But Fred, take it from here.
Yeah, man, 6'6" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's only 18 years old. Another one of these 18-year-old freshmen coming out. 3-and-D is what I see him being, of course. Shot 45%, like you said. My only concern with him, he seemed to disappear at some points at Duke. Kind of just get shoved back. And that's kind of hard too when you're so star heavy at a school like that. But I think he plays a great role at Atlanta. I gave this a B+. I think he's going to be an elite 3-and-D guy, which are at a premium in this league. Even shot 50% from the field, along with that 45% from three. So gets it done. Great stroke. I like this kid a lot. Yeah. I love 3-and-D guys, and I think he fits that team perfectly.
Yeah, he was my number 7th ranked prospect, and I believe the only reason he fell out of the top 10 was there was some like injury concerns that came out of nowhere, really, where they were just starting to really worry about his knee that he injured back in high school. He kind of had some trouble with it at Duke. And so like AJ Griffin, yeah, he's got those a little bit of concerns where people were a little hesitant to jump on the hype train. But again, he is so young. He's so talented. And whenever I went again to watch them play, like AJ Griffin, man, that shot is just, it's not the most pretty looking jump shot, if I'm being honest.
Over the,
it's a little wonky, but that thing falls, that thing finds that. And like, he took over the game towards the back end where he knocked in, I think it was like 3 in a row to like in a big spot. Like they were only up 6. Louisville had a little bit of momentum. And then all of a sudden AJ Griffin would just pile on huge shots. And like, he's just a kid. I love AJ Griffin. He's one of my favorite prospects, again, ranked number 7 in my opinion. And I mean, it's another one of those picks for the Atlanta Hawks higher upside. Like last year, Jalen Johnson kind of fell a little bit and they snagged the Dookie. AJ Griffin falling a little bit, snagged the Dookie. And hopefully injuries don't derail him, because that would suck, because I love AJ Griffin, has extreme upside. And I just love what the Hawks are doing. I love the Atlanta Hawks.
Some comparisons I've been seeing is like the best is Jaylen Brown. And like you could see him being at his best potential, Jaylen Brown, or, as a good career, OG Anunoby. And I think that's pretty solid.
Another thing that really stuck out, half a turnover a game. I know that's kind of a weird stat, just got to throw out there. But, I mean, you go through the first 15 picks and you're looking, everybody's over at 2. A guy who's young, he's 18 years old, he's taking care of the ball like that, and a guy who had the ball in his hands at times. So he's a high IQ guy. He comes from a basketball family, so he's going to be great. He's going to have a great career. He's another one of the guys like OJ. He's going to have just a long career in the NBA.
Rockets on the go ahead.
Dude, these next 3 picks I absolutely hate, if I'm just going to be completely honest. I don't like the next 3. I just wanted to throw that out there before we get going, because like these next 3 picks I just don't like. And I
love 2 of the 3.
I love to hear that.
Tari Eason went 17 to the Rockets second pick of the night. So Fred, why do you love this pick?
SEC guy, man. Let me tell you what. Played for a terrible coach, but got the job. 17 off the bench. He's a willing guy to come off the bench. Another guy who's a beast, an elite defender who can guard all 5.
7'2" wingspan.
Oh my, his arms, man. He's a sophomore. He's 6'8", like I said, 217. Like to see him put more. He's got the motor, man. Can the shot translate? Shot 36% from 3 last year. He proved he could shoot it better. 52% from the field. 52% of the field from a guy who's playing on the ball with a 17 a game guy. 80% from the line. 2 steals a game. I thought this was an incredible pick. Coming off the bench, putting numbers off like that is insane. You saw it watching LSU play. This dude was their best player. I love Tari Eason. I love this pick. This is an A- pick for me. Houston, SEC Central. Get it done, son.
Before Troy bashes this pick, I think we've seen with the Rockets, they have a lot of score-first guys. You've got Jalen Green, who's going to put the ball in the bucket, Jabari Smith, who's going to put the ball in the bucket, Kevin Porter Jr., all these guys that they have. And you bring this guy in who's got the size and the quickness to be a solid defender. I think they needed something like that. So it might not be the best pick that they could have got, but I think it's one that they needed to take.
Well, he shows he can come off the bench and perform on the second team. I think this is beautiful. An elite defender, man.
That's what I like. I like that he's a willing player, just overall. Like, he's not worried about starting. He's not worried about all that, which I love. I love that about him. And and he's going to complement what they got going really, really nicely. So I wanted to throw that out there. I like the fit. Okay, I'm not all in on Tari Eason quite like you are. I think he's got some. I don't know. I wasn't a fan of that LSU team overall. I just don't like LSU talent. I don't like their players that come out. I'm just not a believer in the LSU Tigers. Like, have they produced anybody worth a rip in the last, 5-10 years? I mean, Ben Simmons, you saw how well that went. So, I mean, it's like this Tari kid. Yeah, I see the upside. I see the potential there. But I keep saying who I would have preferred, but I get defensively this prospect, like this Tari Eason is way better than EJ Liddell, but I would have loved an EJ Liddell.
I can't wait to get to 41.
EJ Liddell right here to me would have made some sense. Again, what you're kind of building is those fours that can score, that can create, that are just beautiful touch. And like EJ Liddell has that I think you can kind of pair alongside Jabari and have a nice little like, oh, Jabari's out, EJ's in. We don't lose very much offensively. But whenever Tari's out there, but I guess Tari can play alongside Jabari better than EJ could. But I just, there's other guys there that I would have liked over Tari. But again, Tari's a nice guy. I ranked him number 50 in my big board. I'm not in on him. But again, I'm in on him. I'm not in on him as a prospect. And so I would have liked EJ Liddell here. I gave it a C- D, right in that ballpark. It's hard for me. I'm just not a Tari guy.
Yeah.
Moving on, 18, first pick that I'll come out and say that I don't necessarily think I agree with, because the Bulls are one of my favorite teams to watch on League Pass every night, whatever. But they take Dalen Terry out of Arizona, 6'7" point guard. I don't know.
So raw. I'm going to steal it from Fred because I have a feeling he's going to like him because he's a defensive-minded guard. He's long.
I love defense.
6'7" point guard.
Listen, hold on. First of all, I'm a defense first guy.
All the things Fred loves. Long, athletic, potential, raw. Dude, you're going to a team that wants to win. Like, what? Like, yeah.
And has several good guards already.
Like, if you're moving Kobe White, who can't really guard, makes a little bit more sense to me. But Dalen Terry, dude, he's so raw. What did you see in Arizona that would like even point to him being like this guy that can be a
tell you, son?
Okay, I'm gonna let you here in a minute. He's unranked on my big board. I ranked 61 prospects this year. He was not in my top 61. I just don't like Dalen Terry. I don't see what everybody else sees in this kid. Like, he's a really, really good defender. And I tried being nice. I said, I guess he compared nicely next to Levine and DeRozan in terms of defense. But offensively, I mean, this kid, ooh, I mean, don't sign me up to watch him play. That's all I'm saying.
Are you done?
Yeah, I gave it an F.
I give this pick a B+. Dalen Terry is a part of Big Guard U. Love me a big guard. He can learn under Lonzo. He's 6'7", 195 with a 7'1" wingspan, which is beautiful. A lot of scouts rate his personality. Apparently, he interviewed really well. He's a great kid. Got a lot of heart. Played on a great Arizona team, surrounded by a lot of talent. 8 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. Doesn't really stick out, but he shot 50% from the field, and that's incredible for a point guard. 36% from three.
Shot attempts 4, 5, 6.
Okay, listen, bro.
I mean, dude's volume is like non-existent. And he's just a guy. Like, you got Alex Caruso and Lonzo, who are really, really good defenders.
And Ayo Dosunmu. They like Ayo Dosunmu there a whole lot.
He flashed. Like, what are we doing with this pick? Just throw another guard out there and see what happens? Like,
is this a guy that's going to spend half the season in the G League? I wouldn't be surprised.
He'll probably spend the whole year in the G League. The entirety of the season.
Just wait. That's fine.
So you think he's like
I really do think he's a high upside prospect. No kidding.
Okay.
Go watch tape. Arizona. Just watch a game of Arizona. He paced that game so well, especially with all the talent around him. He led that ship, and it was beautiful.
Do you need a guy to lead the ship in Chicago, though?
I mean, I'm not saying was it the best fit? No, but is he a good prospect? Absolutely.
4 assists per game, and the boy was leading the ship on a highly talented.
Yeah, but from playing basketball, a guy who paces the game and a guy throwing a lot of assists.
I agree. You know, you have a guy like that with I don't know, Alex Caruso, who you just paid $8 million a year to.
Yeah, you
that.
paid that much money to him, but what happened to both those guys last year?
Injury.
Okay, long-term injuries too.
Yeah, Grayson Allen kind of tore the dude's.
Well, Grayson Allen's a
profile
bum, so
rim. I mean,
no, I think he was it a reach at the spot, maybe, but is this guy a guy who can have a really nice ceiling? Absolutely.
give me Christian Braun.
His floor is definitely Chris Dunn, but
Yeah, I mean, give me Christian Braun here if you want to have a two guard. If you want to throw me a guard, give me Christian Braun at this spot.
But I think personality guys and guys who play just have a lot to prove. I think those are at a premium. So, shouts out to Dalen Terry, man.
Jake LaRavia was taken number 19, traded to the Grizzlies. Troy, take it away.
Number 55 prospect. I don't like this. Give me EJ Liddell any day of the week, or even David Roddy. And I'm not a huge David Roddy guy. I know Fred loves Roddy. I'm not a huge Roddy guy. Like, I like him, but
What?
I mean, dude, what this kid? I heard a lot of this kid the back end of the first round that people were like, okay, he's gonna get taken. He's a winning player. He scores the ball pretty well.
Well, hold the horses on winning. It's a Wake Forest.
Yeah, I know. Like, but
The
that's what they
ACC,
were
so.
saying, like, he's got a nice personality. He's got a good winning spirit about him. It's like, yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but I mean, he looks like, he reminds me of like Drew Timme when I watch him. Like, he's just like a really raw white dude that kind of runs around. I don't know. I'm just not a guy. I'm not high on Jake LaRavia. He's my, again, number 55 prospect. I gave this a D.
I'll give this pick a B+. I like this kid a lot. He's old but young. He's a junior who happened to be 20. That whole thing happened with his age that just shot him up draft boards. 6'8", 227 with a 6'9" wingspan. The wingspan doesn't stand out to me, but he's got a plus wingspan, so that's always a plus. 38% from three, I thought was super impressive. 56% from the field. Defends all over. I think he's going to be a great role guy. I don't think he's going to come in and start and set the world on fire. But I think a guy off the bench who also averaged 2 steals a game. I mean, a guy who can, like I said, defend all over. Got the experience, 3-year player at Wake. So I really enjoy this pick, and I'm excited.
I think he's going to be a G League MVP.
Right.
Can I say that? Like, I
was watching tape on this kid, and he just stuck out to me. And Wake played well last year. I thought he was a guy that just really he ran. He's a high motor, super athletic guy, sneaky athletic. That's what we call white people. So go this guy. So yeah, I really like the pick. I'm not too low on him like Troy is, but yeah.
Guess we'll have to find out. Okay, number 20, Malachi Branham from Ohio State went to the San Antonio Spurs. Fred?
Hey, love Malachi Branham. Super slim. He's 6'5", 180. Need to put on muscle and put on weight. He's only 19. He's a freshman. He's a leader. He's a born leader. He's super efficient. I mean, a guy who shot 50% of the field, 42% from deep. Mid-range sniper. I love this prospect a lot. Like I said, his splits are incredible. Averaged 14 a game last year. A guy that can take over, I think, for DeJounte Murray, golly. So, yeah, I love this pick. Ohio State just produces a great guard here, and I think Malachi Branham will have a great career. His role is to yet be determined. I don't know if he's going to play the 1 or the 2. He's kind of that combo guard guy. Hard-nosed kid, hard worker. Great pick at 20 by the Spurs. Gave it an A.
Yeah, I think with this pick, he's my number 26 rated prospect. I think you have to take almost the highest upside, especially, again, the Spurs are going to be terrible. Like, they're obviously going for a bit of a rebuild, retool, whatever you want to call it, of young. I don't know why they would trade their staple if you're going into a.
They're blowing it up to try to get
Juan Babadade or whatever.
I can't wait to cover that kid. Holy cow, that tape is insane.
Yeah, but
do I love watching tape? Maybe.
Malachi Branham is he's a solid pick here. His pick makes a lot of sense. He'll have plenty of time to develop at San Antonio. Just again, I like the fit. I like the pick. Get you another guard in there that can maybe play the 1, maybe
I think so, man.
said
He's
this-
like a kid you go to the AAU gym, and he's not the best player on the floor, but he's the guy talking the most. Like, and you can just tell he's that leader, a guy who talks constantly on the floor. Guys look
gonna
to
love
for
him.
yeah.
I'm gonna love him.
He's
you
a
know,
pop guy.
I think again it kind of highlights how bad of a pick Joshua Primo was last year because they continue just to add.
Yeah, that was a interesting.
Yeah, the guard, like they just keep adding guards that kind of play a similar role as to Primo, and it, why'd you make that pick then? But nonetheless, Joshua or Malachi Branham.
Yeah, I think Malachi is definitely more NBA ready than Primo too.
Branham. Why do I keep saying I keep saying Malachi Brogdon? Like what am I?
Oh, Brandon, yeah.
Branham.
Moving on here, number 21, the Denver Nuggets took Christian Braun out of Kansas, 6'6", 218. He was pretty versatile at Kansas. I question how versatile he'll be in the league, but nonetheless, 6'6" guard going to the Nuggets there. Fred, how do you feel?
Yeah, man, just kind of like what you said. What is he? Was my another question, guy. Like, what is he going to be in the league? Winner, plays with a lot of heart. Willing rebounder. He's a 6.5 rebound a game guy.
Yeah.
Shot 50 from the field, 39 from three. He has a negative wingspan. He stands at 6'7" with a 6'6" wingspan. He's got great size, 210. Not a bad size for him. I gave him a C+, just because I really don't know what he's going to be in the league. 3-and-D. I don't know. Just a shooter off the bench. We'll see. We'll see. Not crazy about the pick, but I don't hate it. Just not my favorite prospect. I'm not a big Christian Braun fan. So,
Troy, how much playing time you think with them trading away Monte Morris and who is
Will Barton?
Will Barton. Thank you. Do you see him fitting into their rotation now, or because they're bringing in KCP, is that a guy taking over him?
Well, KCP will probably start at the 2 if I had to, in a perfect world. But I think this is a perfect pick for the Nuggets.
I like it.
He's a guy that can play off, bigger names and really just do things that like the bigger names A don't want to do, and B like the bigger names can kind of like feed him in open spots, kind of just playing off the ball. He doesn't need the ball in his hands. And I think that this is just a perfect role player to play around stars, which they have in Denver and Jamal and in Jokic. Obviously, Jamal's not a star, but he showed some flashes. And then Michael Porter Jr. is also showing some flashes. And those guys like the ball in their hands. So like Christian Braun coming in off the bench, and they're playing with he's going to play with off the bench another ball dominant guard in Bones Highland. So like it makes so much sense why you make this selection. Just a guy that again can play off. And I believe this guy could really be the steal of the draft in the terms of being a key part in a championship level run.
Really, really, really good role player.
Yeah, he could be that guy that like I always say, Laker players, but like Alex Caruso that literally like stole the hearts of all Laker fans just because he was willing to do whatever it took in the role that he had in a championship run. And I think Christian Braun could literally be that for the Nuggets. Come off the bench, be a guy that's kind of just a staple. He kind of slows everything down, plays at a good pace. Little concerned about his inconsistent play. Like he was a really streaky kid. Like he had times where he would be in fuego, and he would have times where he was a little off and just wasn't all there. But
I thought he looked great in the tournament, though. I felt like he really shined in the tournament. He helped his draft stock tremendously.
And then learning from KCP. KCP's always taken these young guys under his wing. He did it with Kuzma in LA and in Washington, and like he's going to do it here. And KCP is a perfect guy to learn from for Christian Braun. That's the type of player he can be, a three guy that contributes to a winning team. So I love the pick. I gave it an A-.
Nice.
Does anybody else feel bad for Walker Kessler, or is it just me?
I feel bad for his real estate agent for sure. I mean, that's a
picked at 22, picked at 22 for the Grizzlies, traded to the Wolves, then packaged in the deal for Rudy Gobert. So Walker Kessler all over the board, all over the place within his first week and a half of the league. So I guess we were going to break it down for the Wolves, but within the last few days traded to the Jazz. Where do we see him fitting in with the Jazz?
7'1", 260, 7'4" wingspan, great size, a 20-year-old sophomore. SEC guy, another guy I watched a lot at Auburn. Like I said, he's got the size, he's got the length. He's a tremendous shot blocker, almost 5 blocks a game. My question: what else is he? I don't. he averaged 8 rebounds, but it doesn't seem like he really took over the game rebounding. Didn't really control the paint like that. From a rebounding standpoint, as a shot blocker, yes. I gave this pick a C because I don't know what else he's going to be. He's kind of just the poor man's Rudy Gobert at this point. It's kind of funny that he ended up going to the Jazz, but as a shot blocker, he's going to be elite, and you can't teach 7'1", 260. So, and he doesn't look, he's a built 260. But again, I don't know what else we're going to see from him. He had 20% from 3, so he's tried to shoot it.
Flashes in high school of like being, he could.
It's just
really.
I don't know. He's a weird prospect to me. Definitely shined at Auburn though. He got in the right situation. Bruce Pearl used him in a great way. He played well off Jabari. It's just
as a defensive anchor, he's going to be really, really good. But
what else?
Everywhere else, it's kind of like you said. I mean, you're that tall, you're going to stumble across some rebounds. I mean, just going up there and grabbing them.
Yeah.
But
he didn't attack. He didn't really go to the ball with a lot of force. I saw him a couple of times get the ball ripped away from him. I gave it a C. I don't know if I said that, but
especially with a guy that defensively, I think playing behind Hassan Whiteside, he could learn to be an elite shot blocker. Really, really
sure. Whiteside's a free agent though.
Is he?
I believe he is.
Well, then I take back everything I said. We'll move on.
The Jazz are just kind of in a weird spot at that front. At the front.
Blow it up.
I like the shot block is there, the aggressiveness and just again another guy. Does he need basketball kind of vibe? So could end up being a good pro though. So we'll see. Mitchell Robinson ceiling maybe.
Moving on here, number 23, the 76ers traded their pick to the Memphis Grizzlies for Fred's guy, David Roddy. So, Fred, we will let you have the floor.
Body, yaddy, 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 yaddy. That's how I feel. This man's 6'6", 261, man. This dude, but he's not, he built 261, son. Got a 6'11" wingspan. He's a junior from Colorado State. Got that experience. He's a great passer, man. He can shoot from range. He shot 44% from 3 last year with a 57% clip down low in the field. The big question for him, and he's quick for his size. Dude can move for a guy who's 261. 19 a game, 7.5 boards, 3 assists. Love this guy. Questions the position. Is he a 3? Is he a 4? Probably grades more as a 4, but he can shoot it. He's a 3. It's just weird. He's that, again, positionless basketball. I get it. I gave this pick an A-. The body is just what stands out to me. He is incredibly strong. He's incredibly quick for that size. You just don't see a guy move that quick. You just don't for that size. He played at Coast State, so his competition, whatever.
And didn't he play well in the tournament? When his team needed him, he was not.
Yeah, you're not wrong. But the range is what sticks out to me. Another guy, he's Desmond Bane-ish. He's kind of like, but his body and his quickness is insane. You cannot teach it. Super high on this kid. I think the Grizzlies. Oh, he's going to the Grizzlies. So, yeah, he can learn right under Desmond. So, shouts out David Roddy.
The Memphis Grizzlies have kind of built like a
261, son?
Yeah, a culture of like fun, energetic, and then David Roddy is like the opposite of fun and energetic. Like he doesn't play with much like excitement about the game. Like he's just so 6'5", 260. You know what I mean?
But he can move. He's a gazelle.
But if I weigh less than an NBA prospect, like in terms of being a 6'5", that just doesn't sit right with me. Like this man is.
Yeah, but he's also going to get the NBA system. Yeah, but he moves like he's 220.
I know, but that ain't going to play in the NBA. You know that. Like he's going to have to cut. Like
okay, well he's going to an NBA nutritionist. Like he's gonna get it.
He disappeared when his team needed him. They literally had.
I know Caleb's thinking Zion didn't.
That's literally.
Well, now he's getting paid like $224, so it don't really even matter. But yeah, with Roddy, it's just one of those things. Your team needed you most, and you
could shoot that thing
there. But he wasn't there when it mattered most. Like, yeah, great job. You can play at Colorado State and be a really, really solid player.
You're not a fan of the Mountain West Conference?
When the bright lights turned on and your team needed you to make some plays late, you couldn't do it. And then Michigan was able to come back and steal your moment, like your moment to, because I love David Roddy. I was like, oh my gosh.
That's a tough draw though. That's a tough draw.
This kid's so weird and just posh posh. Colorado State was a better team if Roddy showed up, and Roddy didn't show up. So
but he took what were they, a 6 seed?
Yeah.
That's impressive for a Mountain West Conference. And if I'm not, did they not win their conference tournament? I don't think they got automatic bid.
It was either them or San Diego State, because I think San Diego State was really, really good this year too.
So I love this kid's that's a tank. That is a tank, a bowling ball.
Small. That's all I wrote. D-.
Dude, it's so funny how we do not agree on anything.
He's just not my guy.
Like, makes good content.
Does a great content. I like the kid. Size, I love size. If you haven't tell, I love arm length. I mean, so 6'11" wingspan. Just so you.
Our second G League prospect taken here at number 24 to the Bucks, MarJon Beauchamp. One thing I will say is I think he has the tools to be a solid defender, and especially alongside Drew Holiday. Like him and Drew Holiday just going at team's best players in the backcourt. I think that has the potential to really, really stand out. He's 6'6" with a near 7'1" wingspan. So him and Drew Holiday together.
C+. Great story. Overcomer, went from homeless to 24th pick of the draft. Really cool. Averaged 15-7 at the G League. 34% from three, 65% from the line. So shooting's not there, which is kind of hard to play right next to Giannis with. 21. I like Caleb said, I think defensively is a huge upside. I am interested to see how the outside game translates. He's 197, put some weight on. I think he'll be a decent pro. I don't see where he fits in right now, but C+ guy. Shouts out to you. Way to overcome your downfall.
I gave it a B+, and here's why. What is one thing you can say about the Bucks? They develop extremely well. I think it's going to be a redshirt year for MarJon. They don't need him this year. They're a title contending team with or without MarJon in the rotation. Like they are going to be top 3 seed in the East. Like whenever they're healthy with Drew, Giannis, Chris. I really like this fit from it, like you said, the defensive standpoint, learning from Drew, but then from an offensive standpoint, learning from guys like Chris Middleton, learning from Drew again on the offensive side of the ball, even learning from Pat Connaughton, like these guys that are in that system that were groomed and developed by Milwaukee that have turned themselves into some, like Chris Middleton was like a 2nd round pick. Nobody believed in him. And then they traded for him. Like Chris Middleton wasn't a guy that you really thought was going to be, man, that guy is a number 2 option and a number 1 option when it matters most in the 4th quarter, whenever, they need a bucket late. So I love MarJon. This is a beautiful fit. He's a grinder. I don't know if you've seen it. Giannis just released a movie about his family, how they were grinders, how they had to come up and really, shouts out Rise, man. I mean, this kid really did rise. Like, this just fits to me. It makes so much sense for the Bucks. He was my number 22 prospect. I love this pick. I gave it a B+, just because I don't think MarJon's going to be a guy that's like, holy cow, you got him where? But I think he's going to be a really solid rotational piece that develops well in Milwaukee.
Definitely raw. I mean, I'm intrigued to see where he turns out.
Redshirt year. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
Spurs' 3rd and final pick in the 1st round here. They took Blake Wesley out of Notre Dame, the guard. Troy, what are you thinking?
I like it. He was my number 18th prospect. I think now that they've gotten rid of DeJounte Murray, this pick makes a little bit more sense because he was a more of a playmaker in college, like really well with the ball in his hands. And I put he's very DeJounte Murray-esque, like in the sense of being longer, being able to play make a little bit. Maybe, I mean, he's not as good defensively as DeJounte Murray is, because DeJounte Murray, I mean, he's just, he's one of those guys, but he wasn't able to show his full range of skills, in my opinion, at Notre Dame. I think they kind of put a like hold on what he could be. If that makes sense. I don't know. I just didn't like the whole fit being at Notre Dame. But I expect a surprisingly really, really great first year for him. I'm actually calling for an all-rookie first team. I'm calling my shot here. I think he's going to be an all-rookie first team player. And I gave it an A for the pick just because, again, they got rid of DeJounte. He's going to have the ball in his hands. I don't think you start Trey Jones over him. I think Blake Wesley's going to be a guy and go in there, do what he does, and just have a really, really solid campaign.
Fred.
Didn't love him. I give this pick a C minus. His splits really turned me off. Big stat analytic guy over here. I think he's super raw. He's a freak athlete. I mean, this dude's a freaky deaky athlete. Love it. He's 6'4", 197 with 6'9" wingspan. Like Troy said, he's super long. The 30% from three, 66 from the free throw line, 40% from the field just really doesn't do it for me. I think he was held back out there in South Bend, but I think he needs time to develop, and I think,
What did you say his splits were in college?
40, 30, and 66.
It's kind of crazy. DeJounte Murray in college, 41%, 29 from three.
Yeah, but what really stuck out about Duante was the defense.
Yeah, and I think what sticks out about Wisely is his playmaking. So, like, what didn't really stick out for DeJounte, even though he was a solid.
What'd you see in his playmaking?
I think he can create on the ball. Like, okay. I think that he can get downhill with effectiveness, and then from there, he just needs to learn. And DeJounte Murray only averaged 4 assists in college. And I
just see him as an off-ball guy, Blake Wesley, in my opinion.
I see him on.
Because he's so athletic, though. I mean, he's a lot more athletic than Duante was.
Dude, I think Notre Dame really, really put him in a bad spot, if I'm being completely honest. Like, there were moments where he would.
Besides beating Kentucky, that's about all they can do.
And he was a big part of that. Like, he got downhill effectively on our guards. And I'm not saying we had we had small guards that couldn't really guard, but like he really got downhill and could make things happen. And again, I love the comp with DeJounte Murray, and you know how much I love DeJounte Murray.
I love him too.
Blake Wisely, I think he just slides right into there, and he's a guy that I think is going to make an all-rookie first team.
I think he needs a few years, but I mean, so did Duante. So we'll see. Yeah. Don't love it. Like I said, C minus, not as high as Troy. I don't think he's going to be a bust, but I also don't think he's going to be a superstar. So
all-rookie first team.
There's just too many. The next guy, yes, but not this guy.
Wow. Next guy was Wendell Moore Jr., taken by the Mavs, but ultimately traded to the Timberwolves.
Hold on. We need to have a moment. He was just nice about a Dookie.
I know.
This is rare. I hate all Duke players. I still think.
The fourth Dookie taken in the first round, Wendell Moore. And it's the first positive thing Fred has said about a Dookie so far.
I don't even think Jason Tatum's a good pro. So, yeah, Minnesota. Okay, but was my hot take on Jaylen Brown? I have it on record. Not crazy. No, but all seriousness, yeah, I'm trying to be professional or whatever. Not my Duke hatred coming out. This dude's 6'5" with a 7-foot wingspan. He's a junior. He's only 20 though. He's got a great body. He's so versatile. I think he's a complete player. He's super experienced, like I said, a super high IQ guy. His splits are incredible. Averaged 13, 5, and 5, 50% from the field, 41 from deep, 81 from the line, a steal and a half, slam dunk pick. Incredible pro.
Did you say
that? 4 and a half, so about five assists a game. So I think the splits just really stand out to me. You know what you're going to get from this kid. Do I think he's going to be an elite superstar? No, but do I think he's going to play a role and play it well? Absolutely. Great pick by the T-Wolves. Wendell Moore. I would have loved to actually see him in Dallas, the team that traded him away, but can't teach size, can't teach brain.
I think actually it fits better in Minnesota, in my opinion. Like
I'm not saying it doesn't fit well in Minnesota. I'm saying I would have loved to see what he'd have done in Dallas.
I would have loved to see him in Dallas.
Yeah, he played on the ball surprisingly a lot at Duke.
Yeah, he played a lot for them.
Yeah, and you think about the T-Wolves, they don't really have D'Angelo Russell, but like off the bench, like they just traded Pat Beverly. Like they don't really have a guy that is going to have the ball in his hands a lot off the bench. So I think this fit makes a ton of sense for him as a prospect. Like he could come in and kind of showcase his playmaking ability that was highlighted by Duke. And I think Duke did a really good job with him. He was just that experienced veteran that had the ball in his hands. And that's what you need. And he made a Final Four run. So I like the pick. I'm not high on him as a prospect. I really like him. I think he's going to be really, really solid. He's my 25th ranked prospect. So I really like him. And I think he's going to be a really good rotational piece. I don't think he's going to boom to be some special star, but rotational piece.
Just a solid role player.
That's exactly how I feel about him too.
Yeah, I gave it like a C+, B-, right in that ballpark where,
it's a very safe pick.
It's a very, very safe pick. They didn't reach, and they for sure, didn't flop. So I really like the pick.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Coming in at number 27 is Nikola Jovic to the Miami Heat, a guy that I heard a lot of buzz about before the season had even started, and then it seems like as the season went on and as college basketball picked up, he kind of slid down some boards. But I mean, 6'10", so I think he's a guy that could fit in with Miami. He could be a backup big, whereas like he could take like the Omer Yurt 7 minutes, and you can plug him in. But how do you guys feel?
I love him. I think this is one of the steals of the draft. I think this kid's incredible. Like Caleb said, he's 6'10", 6'11", 223. He's a hoss. He's got 7-foot wingspan, not crazy about it, but he's got a ton of upside. He's super young. He's so versatile. He's got the big guard ability. I think learning under Bam is going to be great. He's explosive. In the under 19 circuit, dude averaged 19, 11, and 11, shooting 43% from the field, 30% from three, not beautiful, but 85% from the free throw line, 2.5 steals and 4 blocks a game. I mean, dude tore up the U19 circuit out there in Serbia. A+ grade for me. I love this pick. I think this kid's got like I said, a ton of upside. Can't wait to see him develop. Still only 19 years old, but he's got a lot of tools and another one of those international guys I think are going to take the league by storm.
Yeah, he played yesterday against the Lakers Summer League team, so I got a pretty good look on him yesterday. He's super raw, in my opinion, like at the NBA level. Like, in Serbia, you're going to be the cream of the crop. I mean, you're a first-round prospect in the NBA. Like, in Serbia, you're going to dominate. He was my number 29th ranked prospect. And I think this Summer League is going to be so good for him because, I mean, he can really get checked off his spot really easy. Like, you know, the Lakers Summer League team has some really good prospects, but, like, they were dudes that, like, really have not played a game in the league that were able to kind of move him off his spot and not really have trouble doing it. So he like his aggressive, like his strength, like he needs to be like, no, that's my spot and kind of impose his will a little bit. But that's great for the Miami culture. Like you think about
he doesn't have to be a star right away.
Exactly. I literally have in my notes in Summer League, he showcased that he is going to be a work in progress, but that is okay. Like Miami fans are going to want this dude to come out there, steal the show. It's not what he's going to do. He's going to be a 2 to 3 year guy that is going to just constantly improve. And yeah, those splits weren't great, but his shot, he's got a really nice stroke on him. Like I was watching, I was like, man, this kid, and he's aggressive. Like he was not scared to go out there and try to make things happen for this terrible Miami Heat Summer League team. But, you know, that's good for him. Like, give him the ball. Let him try to go to work against some of these kids and these prospects on other Summer League teams. So, like, I like the pick. They again, not a reach by any stretch. And just a guy, Miami Heat fans, give him time. Like, let this kid grow and develop. And you might be blowing it up here in a couple in next offseason. We might be talking about the Miami Heat blow up. So I think he's a guy that's going to be really, really solid for a rebuild that I think Miami is going to have to face in next year.
Well, his name's so similar to Nikola Jokic. Okay. Is that helping any?
Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes on that one.
I need the next one, by the way. I need to just go in on somebody real quick.
Next Kentucky guy on the board, Ty Washington, goes to
no.
Grizzlies.
28.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, I skipped one. My bad. Patrick Baldwin Jr. went to the Warriors. Go ahead.
D+. I'm not a fan of this kid at all. Whatever. He was a top high school prospect. So much fun, right? He's 6'10", 231, 7'2" wing. Great. Cool. You got the intangibles. What did you show me at a bum school like UW Milwaukee? Overhyped, in my opinion. I think the potential's there. Cool. 12 points a game, 6 rebounds on 34% from the field, a 26% from deep, 74 from free throw line. Didn't show me anything. I thought he was maybe go to a bigger school. I don't know what he got exposed there, but he got exposed at a low-level school. Not a fan.
Coming off a pretty serious ankle injury, I think, right? In high school. I want to say his senior year, he missed a good amount of the season.
Yeah, he got hurt in high school, but
so playing devil's advocate, maybe coming off a big injury and then being the man at a college program. It's a lot.
At a low-level D1 school, though, is what really turns me off from this kid.
He went there for his father.
That's fine, but you've got to flourish.
Dude did not go there to be the saving grace of Milwaukee. He went there to have a year with his dad at a program that needed a little bit of exposure.
Dude shot 34% from the field, though.
Yeah. He probably, you know how much motivation that kid had to even walk on Milwaukee's campus?
Show me the motivation.
You say,
I need
none.
motivation.
Dude, come on. Like, this was
he worked his way into the 28th pick. Congratulations, but your guy
he's my number 19th prospect.
You a lottery. All right, that's fine.
I love this kid. Whenever he entered the transfer portal, I wanted him at Kentucky so bad.
Oh, I wanted him terribly at Kentucky. I would have given anything for him Kentucky, but he's not pro ready.
I think
he's not pro ready.
Do the Warriors need him to be ready? No. They have Kuminga. That's had a year to learn, grow, develop. They've had Moody. That
needs a baby giraffe.
To learn, grow, develop. They've had Wiseman sitting back, waiting to get healthy and play. So, like, Patrick Baldwin stepping into a position where another high-rated recruit is in your building with all these aging superstars. Like, he can just learn, sit under the tree, eat the honey, like, just or drink the honey. Like, just sit there and just soak it all in. That's what I literally put. Soak it in, Patrick, because this is the perfect pick for the Warriors. They did it again, fellas. They did it again. Like, this team just continues to add these young stars that, yeah, they have a little bit of, what are they? Like, Kuminga was a little bit of a question, and I love Kuminga, but coming out, he was a little bit of a question. Like, he didn't showcase great splits, but now he's an athletic freak that's going to be able to be a lob threat and be a developmental piece. And Patrick Baldwin, he's got the size, he's got the intangibles to be something there, and I love it. I love the pick.
I got to see production.
You'll get it.
Moving on here, Ty Washington Jr. out of Kentucky goes to the Grizzlies, traded to the Rockets. Fred, that's your guy. Let's get at him.
B-. I think he needs a lot of work. He's a scorer, obviously. We saw him. I watched every single game he played. He's a small frame. He's only 180. I don't know what position he's gonna be in the NBA. But he's a Kentucky guard. How many times are we going to let a guard slip? Tyrese Maxey, Emmanuel Quickly, guys like that who just kill it in the league. I mean, 12.5 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 4 assists, 45% of the field, 35% from three. I like to even see that go up a little bit. Interested to see how his defense transfers. I think he's going to be a solid pro. I don't think he's going to be a superstar, but I think he's going to be a solid pro. Injuries probably derailed him there at the end, so it kind of his numbers were probably a little bit skewed, but obviously I love Ty as a Kentucky kid, but as a pro, let's see.
I literally put, is he the next Kentucky guard to fall and become something special? Question mark.
It's a valid question.
Probably not, at least to me. He has a clear ceiling. He's a small guard, not really a defensive stout. He can't really guard the ones in the league. They're so quick.
He's little. He's very small.
He's a little guy, which is why he fell. I had him ranked higher than I probably should have. I had him ranked at 20th, but I mean, I literally I have him at 20, but I think my Kentucky love kind of was a lot of the reasoning as to why I even put him in the top 20. But Ty is just a kid. I mean, he's got a lot of question marks, but the good news, you have some time in Houston. And if he can kind of put that in a bottle where he had that like 17 assist game at Kentucky, like if he can put that playmaking in a bottle and kind of do that for Houston, not focus really on scoring, I think he could be a good 10-point, 8-assist guy on a team that, needs a rotational guard, but nothing special.
You think he'll be a 1?
I think he needs to be.
I agree.
More so.
That's what Emmanuel Quickly transitioned to in New York.
Yeah, I gave it a C+. I'm just Ty's Ty.
Yeah. Wasn't blown away, but wasn't disappointed.
Yeah.
Peyton Watson ending in the first round here. Peyton Watson was taken by the Thunder, traded to the Denver Nuggets to finish out the first round.
Unranked. I have.
What is this pick? What?
I don't even want to spend any time talking about him.
We're taking a guy who played 12 minutes a game, who averaged 3, 2, and 1, who shot 32% from the field.
Everybody was high on his potential. I don't see it.
He's a freak athlete, yeah, but
I'm out on this pick. I think it was terrible.
What? He can't even shoot.
I don't like the pick. I don't want to talk about it. Like I literally think he's nothing to talk about.
Watch this kid be a stud, but yeah.
I hope he is. Like that would be cool. That'd be awesome for us to look back on and be like, wow, we were way wrong.
You could have got this kid in undrafted free agency. Like, what is? I don't know.
I hate that.
I gave it a D- because I didn't want to give somebody an F because I feel bad. But
I've given out like 4.
Starting out the second round here, we have the Indiana Pacers taking Andrew Nembhard out of Gonzaga. Solid point guard for them. Let's see. Troy, how do you feel about that one?
I love it. He was my number 30th ranked prospect. Great feel. I love the fit with Brogdon now being shipped out.
Yeah.
I think he's a guy that can literally just be a steady guy who can play next to Halliburton and really just set the table for some of these guys like with Benedict and Miles Turner, even though we don't know how long Turner and Hield are going to be on the team. But, I mean, as of right now, like he'll be really, really good at setting the table. He ran a really, really good Gonzaga team that had a ton of talent. So he can obviously manage those, manage stars really, really well, kept everybody happy, played on that national championship run team. And really was a question mark coming out of Florida, transferring over to Gonzaga. You know, a lot of people were like, man, what's this kid going to be? Mark Few turned him into a really, really, really great point guard. And I think this could end up being one of the better point guards, if not the best point guard out of the class, because there's no real true point guard really. And he was a true point guard, sets the table well. I really like this pick, and I'm really hard on the Pacers. I gave it a B+.
I get this pick an A, man. I love his leadership ability. I think he's a natural born leader. His splits are incredible. 12 points a game, six assists, 45% from the field, 38 from deep, 87 from the line. So I think he's going to be a very solid pro. As a defender, he averaged almost 2 steals a game. Great size. I mean, there's what's not to love about this kid. A lot of experience, 2 years at Florida, 2 years at Gonzaga. So I love this pick.
Going to pick 32 here. Troy, I want to start with you again because I remember we were talking about this guy not too long ago because I remember talking to you about how I heard a lot of buzz about this kid and it seems like he just slowly slipped down. And then we see him here in the second round. That's Caleb Houston out of Michigan going to the Magic.
Yeah, I had him ranked number 39. I'm just not a huge Houston fan, but love the landing spot. So, again, you'll see me kind of low on some of these kids, but then whoever picks him, I'm like, okay, that makes some sense. He's going to have time to grow. He's a bigger 2 or 3. Again, kind of where's his role? Like what is Caleb Houston? But again, it's a second round. You're not going to get a surefire, kid. You're going to have, to make a play on maybe some upside or maybe something that you see in the pre-draft process. So I think he'll have time to get better regardless. I just do not like him as a prospect, to be completely honest. I gave it a C-. And I don't see it with him. I see, he's a second round guy. He could be out of the league. If he's starting on a decent team, I could see it. But he's going to be, I think, one of those guys that just kind of filters around the league looking for his spot. And maybe he booms, maybe he doesn't.
Fred?
Yeah, man, I'm going to give it a C-. Top 5 recruit coming out of high school. I think he definitely underperformed at Michigan. He's 6'8", 190, really small frame. Comes from a great basketball family, obviously with Allen Houston, but 38% of the field, 36 from 3. I think that he needs to be an elite shooter. I thought that's what he was going to be at Michigan, just didn't perform, like I said. Kind of what Troy said. I don't know what he's going to be. He could hit, he could fail miserably, but I guess we'll see. Don't mind the fit either. So we'll see what Caleb Houston can be, but he's got a lot of upside. Like I said, he's top 5 recruit, so obviously he's got a lot of people who think he's really good.
Real nice first name, too.
Great first name. One of the best.
Pick number 33, Christian Koloko out of Arizona going to the Toronto Raptors. Fred?
I love all the Arizona picks, man. I thought they had a great roster last year. I give this pick a B. I like Koloko. He's a huge body, 7 foot, 221 with a 7'5" wing. Another back to the basket, rim running big. He's not going to shoot the 3. He did not shoot 1 3 at Arizona. A junior, so he's 22. He's got some experience. About 13 a game, 7 rebounds. I see those rebound numbers go up. 74% from the free throw line, which I thought was super impressive, and 3 blocks a game. So just another quality big man, I think. That's why I gave him a B. Love what he did at Arizona, played his role well, and I think that's what he's going to do in Toronto.
Yeah, I like him as a prospect. I thought he was going to sneak into round 1. I have a first round grade on him, 27th prospect in my eyes. Shot blocking and lob catching, big part of his game. And I think in Toronto, it kind of fits, I guess, with Chris Boucher. Like they have a knack to take these kids, and Chris Boucher's turned himself into a decent 3-ball shooter as well. So
that slingshot.
Yeah, the little sling. He's a solid player, but he has a lot of retooling to do, is what I put. But his length and feel will help him a lot. He's going to be a really good defensive player for them. I don't know if he's going to – I could see him scratching some minutes. Maybe, maybe not. But I like Koloko. Just the fit a little bit is strange, a little bit. So I gave it a C. But
Dwayne Dedmon.
and they just signed him. I mean, they got Chris Boucher. They got, but I mean, they're good at developing, so.
Yeah. Bismack Biyombo type kind of guy, bigger. Bismack and Dedmon are kind of undersized, but I mean, he's got the size. So we'll see what he becomes.
The Thunder pick 34, taking Jalen Williams, the second Jalen Williams in this draft.
What are the odds? Like,
Yeah.
Let's go to the Thunder.
Center out of Arkansas. Fred, how do we feel about this one?
another guy I saw play a lot. I thought he could use another year at Arkansas. It would have been insane if he came back. That team would have been loaded. But a guy who, when he played Kentucky, man, he only shot 24% from three, but I felt like he shot so much better. Maybe it was just when he played Kentucky, but I think he's got a lot of tools. He's got the size. He's 6'10", 240. I gave this pick actually an A- because I think he's going to be turned into a great pro. I do think, again, I thought he should have came back for another year in Fayetteville, but I like this kid. I think he can be something that OKC can turn into. But again, another 6'10" forward that they picked, but great pick.
The good news about this kid is he's not super skinny. Like, he can actually bang a little bit, and he's willing to get down there and bang. So that's the reason I like the pick. But again, the fit, like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's strange. I thought Jalen Williams could have snuck into the first. That's actually why I thought he came back. I thought he got first round feedback, so that's why I figured he stayed in the draft. I was actually surprised.
Yeah, I gave it a D+, just because I don't see the vision with him. I guess he's supposed to be the strength, like the bigger body that they throw out there.
Yeah, they got all these little skinny dudes. They need some big bang.
I'm impressed by his rebounding ability. I mean, 10 rebounds a game in the SEC is pretty good if you're not named Oscar Tshiebwe. So,
and he'll take a lot of charges. He's willing to put his body out on.
Yeah, he took some abnormally a lot of. I hated him for it, but you need a guy like that.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, I'm not gonna go crazy about the pick. I gave it a D, just because. I mean, again, it's just a bigger body. Like, what are we doing? Are we just fielding a team of 6'10" guys? Like, is that your plan going forward? Let's just have 4 6'6" and up guys, and then throw out a meaty big guy that's willing to grind. I don't know.
Well, you can see how much size is treasure in this league. How many guys that are 6'4" have we seen get drafted so far?
Yeah.
1, 2.
A lot of them are falling, like Jaden Hardy and
Kennedy Chandler.
Yeah. And the next guy, Max Christie.
I will just hand that over to you. The Lakers only picked this season, this draft, Max Christie out of Michigan State.
Yeah, it was my number 36 ranked prospect. So picking him at 35 made some sense to me. He's just really, really raw. I know Fred likes him a lot more than I did. I wasn't a huge Max Christie guy, if I'm being completely honest. He's undersized and needs to put some muscle on. Luckily, he has something that is really, really needed by this Laker roster. One, it's youth, and two, he's got some shot making ability. He was a really high rated recruit, if I remember correctly. McDonald's All-American. So like he has the upside to be like, okay, this kid's can be special. But he has a lot to improve on. But his offensive feel is really, 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 really nice. And he, again, kind of like Nikola in the summer league game, he was you could tell, like, this is a different level of basketball. So like he kind of struggled, but he rebounded. He had like 9 rebounds, I believe. So he got after it. Did some gritty things. And I know Coach Handy was probably telling him like, hey, get after it, do things other than scoring, showcase your other sides of the game that you have. And so, again, had 9 boards, but I gave it a C just because I think there were some guys on the board that would have made a little bit more sense and still had almost the exact same upside. So that's where I sit there.
Yeah, I love Max Christie, the prospect. I thought he could have came back. As you can see, how many sophomores have been taken, how especially a guy coming out of Tom Izzo's system, you don't really see a lot of one and done guys coming out of Michigan State. He's 6'6", 190, 6'9" wingspan, which is great. He's got the size. Shot only 32% from 3 in Spartyville. So let's see how he develops. I like I said, I like him as a prospect. I gave this pick a B- just because I really like Max Christie. He's got a ton of talent. It's hard to another guy. It's hard to thrive in Tom Izzo's system. It's everybody eats, kind of like at Kentucky. So we'll see. I'm interested. I think he can be a really nice piece for a Lakers team trying to infuse some youth, especially with their free agent signings already.
Moving on here to pick number 36, the Blazers take the pick but trade it to Detroit, and it is Gabriel Procida out of, where is he from? Italy? Is it Italy?
Yep.
Yeah. One thing I have heard about him is he is a really, really good shooter, but that's pretty much all I've heard. So
yeah, watched some tape on him last night. He shot 38% from three for the Italy Pro Circuit. He averaged 7 points. It's hard to really grade international prospects off stats because young guys really don't play that much.
Yeah.
20, 25 minutes a game. They do grade him well as a shooter. He's 6'8", 6'9" wingspan. They think he can be a knockdown shooter. D+ because it's at 36. I feel like this is a guy you wait for later, but Detroit saw something in this kid. He shot 52% from the field, so I think he can be an efficient scorer. Just again, at 36, I think it was kind of a reach.
Yeah, they don't need scoring either. I mean, you got Caden Ivey rolling out there. I mean, I'm not a fan of the pick. He was unranked in my eyes, and I gave this pick an F. I just don't see.
Yeah, from tape, he's going to be an off-ball shooter, Duncan Robinson, that 6'8", type. I don't think he'll be as a consistent shooter as Duncan, but he can definitely stroke it.
Moving on here, pick 37, taken by the Kings, traded to the Mavs, and it's Jaden Hardy out of G League Ignite, a guy that was like really high on boards at the beginning of the year, and then obviously, as you can tell, just slid.
This is one of those cases of the bad G League.
That's exactly what I was about to say.
I saw
him.
His shooting split somewhere. Fred, I'm sure you have it.
Yeah, 35 from the field, 27 from deep, 88 from the line.
Yeah. Whoa, that's kind of tough.
He averaged 18 points a game, so he was putting them up.
Volume was there. He
did
not have to.
He's also had the most turnovers out of the class so far. It was 3.5 a game.
And I'll say one thing, being the Mavs fan of the group, I don't know. A guy that's going to come in and try to be instant offense when you have Spencer Dinwiddie coming off the bench, but they might have to start Spencer Dinwiddie now. But Spencer Dinwiddie was that instant offense coming off the bench last year. So I don't know if I necessarily – I guess it's like a potential kind of thing, especially with their only pick left in the draft. Take what you see there while it's still there. So, I'm not – if I had to give it a grade, it's like a C-, just because I'm not positive either way on how I feel.
I give him B+ because I love the kid. I thought he was an elite scorer. I wish he went to Kentucky. I wish he went to college and tried that route, but went to the G League, was a draft pick. Congratulations, but got to see those splits go up, man. You got to be more consistently. You can't be shooting that poorly in from the field and expect to be a role player even in the league.
Yeah, I really like the pick. If I'm being honest, I had him rated really high on my board at 16. This is one of those kids I think would have made a little bit more sense for the Lakers to try to grab, like just a higher upside that literally brings you the same sort of like touch and feel for the game as a Max Christie gives you. But last year the Mavs stole Josh Green in the draft later on in the rounds, and I think he's going to be huge for them this year. I really love Josh Green, and now this year they snag one of the more underrated prospects in the class, coming off, like you said, a very disappointing G League run in Jaden Hardy. But he has incredible feel and a scoring knack that I believe off the bench will be huge, because Tim Hardaway Jr. is kind of a comparable person to him. Obviously, Tim Hardaway Jr. is an incredible shooter, but he was coming out. He wasn't like this knockdown. He had the intangibles to do it, but Jaden Hardy has that. And I believe off the bench, Kendrick Perkins was talking about him like he was the best thing since sliced bread. Every pick from like pick 10 down, K Perk was like Jaden Hardy. So like he of course was ecstatic that this pick was made, but I gave it an A+. And I don't hand out A+ a lot. I just really, really like Hardy. I think that scoring pop off the bench for the Mavericks, maybe not year one. I think give him some time to kind of work through his lulls, work through his problems, but the upside and potential is incredible.
And Dallas, they know how to develop, be it Dorian Finney-Smith, Maxi Kleber, Dwight Powell.
A lot of traffic coming off the bench in Dallas land right now.
Look how they developed Jalen Brunson. They just got him a bag, not worth it, but a bag. You know what I mean?
I don't want to talk about that. I'm still a little upset.
I'm still upset that that's what New York's big splash signing is, but whatever. Continue.
The Spurs took Kennedy Chandler at 38, traded him to Memphis to the Grizzlies. Kennedy Chandler out of Tennessee, 6'1", about 170.
Yeah.
One of the better guards, I think, in college this year, but I don't know how it'll translate in the league given his size. But what do you guys think?
SEC guy, so he killed Kentucky both times. They played him 3 times. 14 a game, 2.5 steals, which I love. He's a capable defender, but his size, like you say, 6 foot 170. He's got to put on muscle, especially being 6 foot. He's got a 6'5" wingspan, so he's definitely got the arm length. I give it a B pick just because I really love Kennedy Chandler coming out of high school. Shot 38% from 3, shot 100% from 3. It felt like against Kentucky, but 2.5 turns as well. So I think he'll be a quality backup guard in the league.
Yeah, he's my number 15th ranked prospect. Another guy that I think just slipped and fell, but again for his size. I really like him as a player. But then
he got that dog in him too.
I thought he was going to be a really, really good backup one for them, and then they bring back Tyus Jones. So obviously, they didn't really they like Kennedy, but they obviously think he needs some time, which makes some sense. But then they bring back Tyus Jones, kind of clogs up his way of playing time. So again, G League route will probably be what he does. But Ja and Tyus both have some injury concerns, so he could see his role, increase as the year goes on. I think he's solid, and I love him as a prospect. So I gave it an A.
Yeah, it's a great 2 guys learn under 2 job, being offensive minded and Tyus being defensive minded and pace, really guy pace the floor as a point guard. So I think it's a great fit. And he's in that nitty gritty town too, you know what I mean? So it fits his personality well.
Back to Tennessee he goes.
Something like that.
Moving on here, it's number 39. The Cavaliers took Khalifa Diop, center. He's 7 foot 250. I've heard a lot about his work ethic, but that skill wise, it's nothing that's gonna blow you away from what I've heard personally. But I like it. I think it's a guy that you could see playing some minutes in the middle of the season for them, because right now I unless he's a free agent, Moses Brown is their second center, I want to say.
He's a free agent.
Okay, so it's that Lauri Markkanen maybe, but it's they're in need of a backup big Ed Davis. They're just in need of a guy they can throw out there for 10-15 minutes, get some fouls, get some rebounds, and then throw Jarrett Allen right back in. So I don't mind the pick.
Yeah, he did okay. He's from Senegal. I heard a lot about his work ethic as well. For a guy who's super long, to average under 1 block a game kind of turned me off, and under 4 rebounds in limited minutes. I'll give you that. 60% from the field. I think he's gonna be lob threat, just a beast down there, moving people around, pick up some fouls, clean up some minutes. I give it a C. I don't love it at 39, but we'll see what he can turn into. I think he's 20, but he's still really young in that. So we'll see.
I think if you're going for a backup big with some upside, I think I would have gone Moussa Diabate from Michigan. He's not ranked. I have him unranked. I just wasn't a fan of him, if I'm being completely honest. I think with Diabate and even EJ Liddell still sitting there waiting and coming back home to Ohio, it would make some sense, but whatever. I gave it an F. I don't see it.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of tape from Senegal, but nothing really stuck out. You just kind of another Bismack Biyombo, Dwayne Dedmon type. Just kind of go in there, give you some good minutes. You saw last year with Dwayne Dedmon how much he impacted Miami. I watched a lot of Miami games, and he came in and just got some slop. You know what I mean? Just did stuff nobody else wanted to do.
And another guy that I wish they would have gone is Orlando Robinson, and who he went undrafted, and eventually got picked up on a two-way deal with the Miami Heat. I saw him play last night again against the Lakers. It would have made a lot more sense for him to go here. And he was actually my 15th rate prospect, was Orlando Robinson. And I love him. So that would have made a little bit more sense for me if you want a big man with some feel that can kind of give you some minutes. He's got the NBA ready frame, NBA ready body, and he's played at a Division I program in America where you can really, really break him down. So.
Well, look at the top players in the league between Luka, Nikola, and Giannis. A lot of these guys are going to want these international prospects just for the off chance.
Yeah,
which is beautiful for the game. I love how international it's gone.
Moving on here, Troy. I think this is your guy. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
Is number 40.
Cornhusker.
Going to the Hornets, drafted by the Wolves, and that's Bryce McGowens. Troy, have at it.
I love this kid, man. My 14th ranked prospect, sneaky playmaker with a developing shot. And whenever I watch some tape, watch some film on this kid, it just screams to me Chris Middleton. Like whenever I watch him play, like he's just so sneaky with just how talented he is. It was kind of really, really masked at Nebraska because like he was forced to do so much at Nebraska because they are so bad.
They were
so like
awful.
This kid, like his field goal percentage can be really, really deceiving. I know Fred will get into the splits, but it's really, really deceiving because like late in the shot clock, man, it's almost like James Harden. They would just hand him the ball and be like, try to do something. And so he would have to like try to create these like off balance shots, off balance threes. And so that can be really, really deceiving. I would not get too caught up in that. But again, I see Chris Middleton all over him. Sneaky long, sneaky good, great feel. His form on his jump shot is really, really solid as well. And let's not forget he can defend. He's a little bit, I believe he's long. He's pretty athletic. I love his feel. I love this kid. Like, I just think, like, yeah, there are some concerns and like creating for others is probably his biggest flaw if I had to like pinpoint it. And again, his splits were a little wonky due to, again, his high volume, hey, we need you to do literally everything for this team. So go do it. And I think it really, really hurt him in the long run. And that's why I think he left. Like, I think he was willing just to be like, okay, bite the bullet. I'm going to fall. But at least whenever I get into a system, I'll be able to have dudes around me that can also do their thing. And I can I think he's really, really good. I gave it an A+. Like, Bryce McGowens is my guy. Like, I love this kid coming out. Again, and to grab him at 40, such a value steal for me. And I love the Hornets, what they're doing.
Yeah, I get this pick an A-, man. You know, the guy was All-American. Went to Nebraska. He's 6'6", 180 with a 6'9" wingspan, so he's got size. Like to see more muscle get put on that frame. 180 is a little bit small for a 6'6" guy, but 17 a game, 5 rebounds, just an assist and a half. But he wasn't asked to really play make. He wanted to score. 40% from the field, 27 from 3, 83 from the line, which is beautiful. Only 2 turns though. I mean, he takes care of it at a decent rate. So I think he can be a great pro. You know, a guy actually I'd love to see enter the transfer portal and see what he could have done. But he also played in one, maybe arguably the best conference in basketball last year. Big Ten produced a ton of guys and a ton of great teams. So I think he's going to be a great pro, and I think it's a great fit in Charlotte. Charlotte, like Troy said, is doing a lot of great things out there. So, yeah, shouts out to you, Bryce.
The pick we've been waiting for. Pick number 41. EJ Liddell out of Ohio State goes to the New Orleans Pelicans. Fred, take it away.
6'7", 240, 7-foot wing. 20 a game scorer, 8 rebounds. He's 50% from the field.
Why did he fall?
37 injury concerns, I think, is what some people said. 77 from the line. His splits are 2.5 blocks a game. I mean, it was a slam dunk pick. New Orleans strikes this kid out of nowhere. I can't believe he fell this far. Maybe he's an undersized 4, but who cares?
Does that even matter in the league today?
Does it even matter anymore? Like, who cares?
I have a good floor for him, which is Grant Williams. I don't know what his ceiling is, but it could – I don't know. I don't know what kind of role he's going to play in New Orleans, but that's a guy I think who's going to be a first-team all-rookie. I think he's going to average anywhere from 13, 6, and 6. I think he's going to be a guy like that where they get him that ball in that mid-post area, let him go to work. He can shoot the 3. He can get fouled. Incredible pick. He killed it at Ohio State. He's played 3 years. He's a junior coming out. He's only 21 years old. He's a young junior. So
again, a win now like pick. Like, this dude can come in there, be a rotational piece. I don't know if he's going to get that opportunity, and I hope he does because he's just so gifted. He's so good. He was my number 10th ranked prospect. Like, he's a top 10 prospect to me. This is the steal of the draft. I mean, again, he could play alongside. I don't know how long Jonas Valanciunas is going to be there, but he can play alongside Jonas. He can play alongside Zion. He can play alongside these guys.
They're loaded.
Like, they really are with just talented players. Like, with CJ, like, they're just a really, really, like, he can just slide right in, be a nice pop off the pine. Really, like, because I mean, you look at their bench, like right now, they don't really have a lot of scoring threat. I mean,
if Zion gets hurt, you slide him right in.
Yeah, he can be a starter that just you're gonna lose.
Zion will get hurt.
Yeah, like you're gonna lose something, like whenever Zion's out of the lineup. But at least like EJ like his ceiling can like not even ceiling, his floor, if he's starting and gets consistent looks, is going to be about what 15, 16 points. So again, I mean, not to mention he can play alongside anyone with his floor spacing ability. I love this pick. One of my favorite prospects, shot nearly 4 threes a game in college and still shot almost 40%. So like
Incredible.
this dude's volume was so high at Ohio State. Again, Big Ten, great conference, was the highlight of their offense and was phenomenal. So I love EJ Liddell. It makes no sense to me why he fell.
The two- the-
small ball four.
The 2.5 blocks is what comes out of me, just because that's his defense at 6'7", an undersized big, but he's a hoss. He's 240. He does it all, and I'm excited to see the pro development in him. And I think he's a guy who just gets plugged in right away with his experience already in college. So yeah, A for me.
New York Knicks on the board. They took the 5th Dookie, Trevor Keels, 6'5", 221, just another unit. Blue Dort 2.0 potentially?
No. No. Middle linebacker. He hits the A gap well. Now, I think he's super raw. He's only 18. I mean, he's a young freshman. I thought he could have used another year in college, if I'm being honest. I feel like an old head when I say that, but he came out of the gates hot, and he just cooled off at Duke. Still a guy who averaged 11.5, 31% from three. I don't think he's an able shooter. He's not going to shoot the lights out though. Struggle from the line. I'd love to see him just be a defensive guy. I don't know what he is, and I think at 42 is a reach.
Yeah, I think you said it. He was my 45th ranked prospect. I'm just not a huge fan of him, if I'm being
Not
honest.
just because he went to Duke. I just think he's incredibly raw.
Yeah, I gave it a pick of C-. You've already said it. What's his role? What can he do? Great. He can't really do anything.
He's a bull in a China shop.
Yeah, I mean, his game 1 against Kentucky, he looked phenomenal. Then from there, it kind of.
It doesn't work out, dude. Go to the NFL. My God, he's a beast. He's a hoss.
Not much to say for me on that one.
Yep.
Okay, we'll move on there. Musa Diabate went number 43 to the Clippers. Big man out of Michigan. Troy, you talked about him a little bit earlier, so why don't you take this one here?
Yeah, higher upside than I believe some of the bigs that we've seen go off the board. I think he's got almost a higher upside in my eyes than Jalen Williams, who we saw taken by the Thunder, just in terms of upside. Maybe not floor, because I don't think he's really an NBA player, if I'm being quite honest. But again, the Clippers here, they don't really need him to do anything for like a year or 2 years unless somebody is to go down. But good length and defender, another kid that if he returns to the school, his stock goes way up. That's what I put. Like again, one of those kids, if you go back to school, you perform well at a high caliber program, you're probably first round, late first round, early second round guy. But I put sneaky good with really solid intangibles. I gave it a B-. I like Diabate as a prospect, but I don't see. I don't know. I don't know about him.
Very underwhelming at Michigan. McDonald's All-American, a guy who's supposed to come in and to be a defensive anchor and a shot blocker to average under 1 block a game was super, super telling to me. And I watched a couple of Michigan games. He didn't really control the paint like I thought he would. He's 6'10", 217 with a 7'2" wing, but he looks a lot thinner than that. He doesn't really play his weight very well. I don't know. A guy who can get to the dunker spot is really what I see right now. Only 6 rebounds a game too. I know they got Hunter Dickinson out there, but a guy who didn't really crash the glass well. He shot 21% from three. I know it's kind of low, but I maybe he's got some upside there where he can improve that. Just nothing really jumped out at me. Again, a guy who's super highly touted coming out of high school, really could use another year back, but he made that jump and he got picked. But we'll see. We like I said, I just think he's a dunker spot guy. He really reminds me of Robert Woodyard that the Clippers took, I think, last year or 2 years ago. So not too much there. So we'll see. 43, I thought was a reach. I gave it a C-.
Ryan Rollins got drafted by the Hawks at 44, but he ends up getting traded to the Warriors. Fred, you got a grin on your face. Let's hear it.
Go Rockets, baby. Come on. Yeah, kid out of Toledo, man. He's 6'3" with a 6'10" wing. You kidding me?
That's tough.
That's tough. You know what I mean? He's got to sit far away from his desk to write a paper. You know what I mean? You don't see a lot of mid-major guys come out as a sophomore, 19-year-old kid. You usually see these guys become a 4-year guy. He's 6'3", 180. Like I mentioned, he's a 19 a game scorer. He got 6 rebounds a game. I mean, he can touch for him standing up those long arms. You know what I mean? 47% from field, 31% from deep. I'd love to see that get improved. 80% from the line. I think he can be an incredible defender with 2 steals a game at Toledo Town. So we'll see what he can do. I give this pick an A-, man. I think this is a great development piece for the Warriors. Excited to see. He's only 19, like I said, and mid-major guys are hit or miss, and I think this guy's going to be a hit.
Yeah, there's a few teams that I don't ask too many questions whenever they see something in a prospect, just because
watch his tape and you'll be like, oh, okay.
Yeah, like he's really raw. He's a small scorer that feels like a little redundant for the Warriors, but again, they're aging, so he'll get to learn from a really nice piece or nice veterans, I should say. I gave it a C- just because I'm just not very high on the kid. I didn't have him ranked, and I
think he's more of a 2 than a 1, but he did play the 1 at Toledo, but we'll I think with his length, he'll be okay as a combo.
Yeah.
Josh Minot out of Memphis went to the Hornets here at number 45. Power forward out of Memphis, like I said, 6'8", 205. How do we feel about this one?
Troy, did you have him ranked?
60th.
I do not like this kid. I'll give this a D. I think he's way too raw to pick at 45.
I also gave him. He's
another guy. Come back to school. Like, what do you like?
I don't even want to talk about him. Like, if I'm being honest, he's just one of those dudes. He kind of reminds me of Peyton Watson, just a kid that really underperformed, came out just because people are high on his potential, I guess. And so
14% from 3. I mean, it's not like I didn't see much. He didn't play much. I mean, he was just another guy, just sheer athleticism.
Yeah, keep it moving.
Keep it moving. Ishmael Kamagate was taken 46 by the Pistons, sent to Denver to the Nuggets. Big man out of Paris.
I've heard that maybe a stash guy is what I've kind of. I think
I think he's going to 2-way. He's going to be whatever they call that nowadays, the international deals.
Yeah,
right?
Stash.
Yeah, kid from France. He's big body, 6'11", 220. He's already 21, so he's been in the international circuit for a while. I think he started young. He went pro young, so we'll see how it goes. Again, I watched maybe 5 minutes of this kid last night and just kind of saw what he can do. I mean, he's for a big. I mean, he's 11 points a game, which I think is high for an international prospect. But he's also, like I say, he's 21, so he's been through the system. He plays a lot of minutes. 64% from the field. Doesn't shoot the 3 ball. He's not going to be a guy who stretches the floor. He's going to be another back to the basket guy.
I heard he has a nice mid-range touch.
Yeah,
we'll see how that translates in the NBA.
I gave it a D+. I thought it was another reach for an international guy, but if he's a stash guy, who knows?
I gave it a C. I actually had him ranked 53. So I mean, I had him in my getting drafted pool, but he has a C.
Nuggets do have a history of having good luck with big men from overseas. That's all.
You also surprised that so many big men who can't shoot are still coveted in the league?
I don't know if they're
you need. I mean, you can't teach size. You need size eventually. So, moving on though, number 47, Vince Williams Jr. out of VCU to the Grizzlies. He shot 40% from 3 and 80% from the free throw line. So I think that's a plus. But nonetheless, what do you guys think about this?
Versatile defender.
Sneaky good.
Yeah, still on half a block a game. I think he can 14 a game, 6 rebounds. I give it a C+. I think it's a okay pick. It's not flashy, but I think it's a guy who can. He's a senior at VCU, Virginia Commonwealth, go Rams. So got a lot of experience. He's a 4-year player there, and he steady improve it every year.
Yeah, I was like, I did a little research on him, and I didn't have him ranked, honestly, because I didn't think he was going to get drafted. Like I didn't really see him getting drafted, but he's a polished guy for what he does. 3-and-D wing, another one of those. I gave it a C just because like I see the junkyard dog in him, like where this makes a little bit of sense. He's really he's decent, but it is what it is.
The 3 turns a game turns me off a little bit on him as well.
Yeah.
Especially for a senior, you have to take care of the ball. And he wasn't a guy with – I mean, he had the ball in his hands a lot, but he wasn't the primary ball handler. So I'd like to see that number go down.
All right, moving on.
Get this guy who Kale was about to say.
Kendall Brown out of Baylor goes to the Timberwolves.
Yeah, I have him ranked my 38th ranked prospect. I think this is a really, really good pick. He's a raw piece for Indiana, but again, they're going to have time to grow and develop this kid. and that's exactly what he needs. He's fairly limited offensively. He was an efficient player, though, I believe, at Baylor. I like his upside as a defender and seems to have good enough feel to improve. And the staff at Baylor, I mean, I really like what they got rolling down there. So he's been a part of a really good system. He'll go and learn from Rick Carlisle and the boys in Indiana. But again, he'll have a lot of time to grow and develop. I gave it a C just because it is what it is. I think he's a highlighted. It looks like Fred's smirking, so he must like him.
I think he's in Minnesota, right?
Is he? I thought he was traded to Indiana.
I didn't see that.
I think he's in Minnesota.
Hmm.
Yes, he's in Minnesota. Indiana traded him to Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah. Sneaky good draft by Minnesota.
Well, then
I don't think it changes anything about what you said. I just, yeah. Besides Rick Carlisle, but
Cavaliers here, they take Isaiah Mobley, obviously, as we all know, brother of Evan Mobley, future cornerstone of that franchise. Is this like a Thanasis Antetokounmpo pick just to keep their star happy?
I think Isaiah's got a lot of upside. I do think it's kind of a brother pick. He's a 22-year-old junior coming out of USC, so he stuck around for a while. He's 6'10", 240, 7'3" wing, 14 a game. He was asked to do a lot last year, 14 a game, 8 rebounds, 45% from the field, 35% from three, and the year before he shot over 45% from three, which I thought was a very interesting stat, playing alongside with Evan that year. So steal on a block a game, I gave it a C+. I didn't think he was going to get drafted, but I'm not surprised he got drafted by the team his brother plays for.
Right.
I don't like him. I just don't like his game. I think he tries to do too much. He just seems to force it way too much for me, and I'm just not a fan of him. I gave it an F, if you can't tell.
Number 50, Matteo Spagnolo out of, where is this again?
Italy.
Can I take this one?
Yeah,
go for it. I like him too.
Okay, because I sent this guy to Fred. I said, dude, I'm watching film on some of these these second round guys. I literally sent it to Fred. I believe it was like before the draft, and I said, Matteo has such a feel in the pick and roll game.
He's got size too, 6'5", 180. I mean,
dude, literally, like I was watching him. I told Fred, I said, now I haven't seen Fred play too much. I said, but Fred kind of plays like him, like in the sense of just good feel on the pick and roll. Like literally, like I was like really impressed with just like
You're not wrong.
He could read a pick and roll. Like the dude was just like playing chess with these defenders. Like if they extended too far off, he hit the roller really nicely. If they went under the screen, he was not afraid to pull back and knock it down. Like he's just a kid. I really, really like this guy. And has incredible read on the defense, not to mention a 44% three-point shooter. He's 6'5". I love this pick. I'm a huge fan of Matteo. I think that this is one of those picks that I really, really enjoy. I gave it a B+. I really like Matteo as a prospect. I think he's really, really raw, but he can be a nice little piece there.
Yeah, one of those high IQ guys. I appreciate the compliment. I didn't have the intangibles, but I thought I knew the game pretty well. So I think that he's only 19 years old as well. And, you're going to get a guy, an international guy who's been to the pro circuit that long, who gets to get, they look at the game different than a college freshman's going to look at it. They understand it more. They have to grow up faster. I give this pick a B-, man. I'm really excited for this kid. I'm interested to see what route they take him and see how they use him. But I mean, dude lit it up, 44% from three, 12 points a game, 3.5 rebounds. I'd like to see the assist numbers go up. I think maybe a true one. I do believe they'll turn him into 85% from the free throw line. So love his splits. His assist turnover ratio was equal, so I'm not really too high. He averaged 2.6 assists, 2.6 turnovers. So I like to see those numbers go up and down.
Tyrese Martin out of UConn was selected by the Warriors, ultimately traded to the Atlanta Hawks. Troy, how are we feeling about this one?
I think he actually surprisingly has a chance to be an impact player. I don't think he's going to be like a star, but I think off the bench, rotational guy. I think he's going to find himself on a team almost every year. Just a guy that, when a team, he's going to be one of those signings towards the back end of free agency every year where it's like a 2-year deal. that they're just taking a little shot in the dark on a good size, good defender. He just he is what he is. I gave it a B minus just because he's solid. He's got a good frame, I believe. So
Yes, 6'6", 215. He's a senior, 23-year-old guy, so he's got the experience. He's older. He's been through it. Averaged about 14, 7.5 boards. 43% from the 3-point line, which is beautiful. I think he's going to form into a 3-and-D guy. I think he is what he is, and I think he can be a quality pro. I gave it a B+.
Carlo Matkovic went to the Pelicans here. 6'11", 220 out of Serbia. Only thing I've heard about him is he hardly ever took any 3-pointers.
He didn't take one.
Yeah. So if you're gonna want to play in the NBA, brother, you're gonna have to throw that in there somewhere. So
do we have any? I don't even. I could pass it over to Fred if he. Yeah. I'm just not a fan of him.
Yeah. So it's so funny. A lot of these international bigs are not shooting threes, which is, I guess they're kind of stuck in that. But I give it a D. I watched a few tape. He's played for the Bosnia international team. He's 21. He's got a nice frame, 6'11", 220, but he shot well from the field. He's going to get you some points in the paint. But besides that, 72% from the line, so it's not terrible. Not going to block a whole lot of shots. Just an okay pick, just a big you kind of throw out there and see what happens.
The YouTube sensation J.D. Davidson went to the Boston Celtics here out of Alabama, 6'3". He's like 6'2", 6'3".
6'2", 190,
yeah. Any feelings about this?
I did not see anything at Bama. But every time I watched him play at Bama, I was not impressed at all. He's like I don't know. He has no control.
Yeah, I would have preferred his teammate Keon Ellis here, personally.
Yeah. Yannick Zoza went to the Wizards here, 6'11", big man, overseas. Fred, I've heard you talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, he's from the Dominican Congo. Shouts out Oscar Shibwe. 6'11", 195 with a 7'4" wingspan. He's 18. He looks very tiny out there. He played for the International Congo team, and he didn't get a lot of run, just 2 points, 2 boards a game. He's not going to shoot the 3 either. He was a highly touted prospect. I heard a lot of people really high on this kid, but I guess he just slipped for whatever reason. Like I said, he didn't play a lot, which was super weird, but he's, again, playing for a pro team, and he's 18 years old, so you're really not going to see that. But
intriguing, but
yeah, I gave it an F+.
I gave it yeah.
International prospects are really hard to grade because I'm going off,
especially this late.
I'm going off, sketchy YouTube videos filmed from the rafters. So, yeah.
Brazilian forward Guy Santos. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's what
I love it.
Out of Brazil, goes to the Warriors here.
He got a little buzz in the summer league.
Dude, he's good.
Yeah, I was about to say, they were. I believe if I heard it right, they were like projecting this guy to be a stash guy, and then all of a sudden, like yesterday, like he performed extremely well. Like they were like, holy cow, like this dude might be ready to rumble like this year. Like he was very, very creative. He's so unorthodox in the way that he attacks and the way that he can like finagle around defenders. I gave it a C+ just because, obviously in your first summer league game, if you're able to, get attention drawn and like be like a holy cow, like who is this kid? Like, okay, like maybe we thought maybe we were going to send him back to Europe for a year, but he could be ready to go this year. So just a guy I think is, the Warriors, again, I'm not going to ask too many questions whenever they make a pick.
Right.
So.
Right.
Yeah, I love this kid, man. He's a 20-year-old coming out of Brazil. He's 6'6", 7-foot wingspan. He averaged 12, 5, and 3 with a 52% field goal, 44% 3-point, 64 from the free throw line split. Stealing a block a game. I think he's gonna be a shooter. I think he can do a lot of things for you. That wingspan is very sexy. So you don't see a lot of guys come out of Brazil. Shouts out Leandro Barbosa.
Luke Travers out of Australia goes to the Cavs here at 56. He's got some size. He's a 6'8" guard, like 200 pounds.
6'7", 207. Yeah.
How do we feel
about this pick? You can have it, Fred. I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm nothing really stuck out to me. He's a poor shooter. I don't know. He played forward for his Australian team. He played the 3, so I think I project him more of a 2. But I think Australia produced a lot of good players, but I don't know about this one. I didn't see a lot.
Okay, moving on here. The Trailblazers took Jabari Walker out of Colorado, 6'8", power forward.
Outstanding kid. Outstanding. He slipped. Coming in, he was projected. He was a all Pac-12 player last year. From his freshman year, he was projected a really high pick going in this year. He slipped a lot, had a down year, but he still averaged 15 and 10 almost, and he shot 35% from 3. 6'8", 214 with 6'11" wing. So I give it a B+. I think
him and Sharp could be potentially like a really nice young, duo that can grow and develop in the G League. I don't think Sharp's going to the G League. Yeah, but if I were them, I mean, you got to see him play before you just toss him into an NBA game, right? Like if he's, I just
want to see the kid play pickup at least.
Yeah, like is he going to summer league, or is he like to the point now where he's just like, oh, I'm just going to wait till the season starts? Would he even play in the G League if the Blazers we're like, hey, we want you to get some reps?
Probably not.
But Jabari Walker, I actually have him ranked above Tari Eason. So great value pick here. He's got potential, but needs some time. And I'm not sure if the Blazers will keep him on the roster, but hopefully he gets some reps in the G League as he, can grow and develop. He's got really good feel and frame, man, and he's a grinder. And that's all you need sometimes, some feel, frame, and the grinder. So,
like I said, great freshman year. He's a projected lottery pick coming into.
Yeah, getting him at 57 is really, really good. That's a sneaky good pick to the back end of the round.
Yeah.
And finally, ending it off, we have finally made it to pick 58. Hugo Besson out of Australia goes to the Indiana Pacers.
This is a guy, man, that was projected towards the top end of the second round for majority of all mocks I looked at. He was early second. In some mocks, I saw him mocked as high as 29, 30. So Hugo is solid. He's a good playmaker, and I think he will come in and be almost like a sponge. I compared him to Campazzo, who the Nuggets have, and Mario Huertas, who was on the Lakers for a while. Yeah, Mario. He was I don't think he's going to wow anybody, but he was my 47th ranked prospect. He played for a really, really good international team, the New Zealand Breakers. And so I don't think he's nothing overly special, but he has the tools. He has the feel. I think he can be a solid player. Maybe his ceiling is like a Ricky Rubio, but the floor, I think, is like a bench spot, 10, 15. We'll see.
Yeah, I think his scoring really stood out to me as well as playmaking. I mean, he averaged 14 a game for the Breakers, who's a really high, like you said, a very, very nice international team. He's got good size, 6'6", 180 at 21 years old. Like to see him put on more weight. But not a bad pick here. I give it a C just because it's really hard to grade these international guys if we don't sit down and watch hours of tape on them. But the stats don't lie, and I think he can be a quality pro.
Well, there we have it. All 58 picks. How are we feeling after that journey?
It was a journey.
It was a journey. A lot of tape running through my mind right now still. A lot of numbers just stuck in my head.
But, hey, season 2, we're back. We had to hit it strong. And we're going to have a ton of content coming out. Lots of ideas, lots of new videos coming out soon. I'm excited. I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited.
Man. Yeah, leave your thoughts in the comments, man. What you all agree with, what you all don't agree with, who you all thought should have got drafted, who you all shouldn't got drafted, favorite prospect, least favorite, whatever it may be. We're always listening, always reading. So just have fun with it.
Follow us on this journey because we're about to hit it hard.
Yeah.
Real hard.
Subscribe, like it up. Let's have some fun, man.
Enjoy, everybody. It's a treat to be back. It's fun to sit back here and just, we all love the game and we all love each other, which makes for a really, really good team and a really, really fun adventure that we all can go on here. So again, thank you guys and thanks everybody for watching. But again, this is not all you'll see from us. We're back. We're going to start posting more and more content, as he said, some fresh content, some new ideas. Hopefully something to keep us all engaged, keep us all really, really active. And we're just excited, man. I'm excited. You guys are doing this and let's rock and roll. Fred, as usual, take us out, brother.
Hey, thank you guys so much for tuning into the X Factor podcast, Sports Talk, Season 2. We're coming out with a bang. Troy, Caleb, thank you guys so much as always. Everybody,
Happy 4th.
keep changing the game. Don't be a star. Don't be a superstar. Change the game. Be an X factor. We love you guys. God bless. We out.